Hello, and welcome to the Snoozy Scientist. I'm really glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you're already lying down, lights dimmed, wrapped up in your favorite blanket. Maybe the world outside has finally gone quiet, giving you this time to truly unwind. Wherever you are, know that I've made this space for you, a gentle pocket of the night where wonder and calm can sit side by side. Tonight, we're going to wander together, slowly and thoughtfully, into a secret world that lives behind your eyelids. Dreams. Every night, as your body rests, your mind weaves strange, shifting stories. Some you remember, some slip away before the sun comes up. Why does your brain spin these strange, vivid movies every night? Why do some slip away by morning like mist, while others linger for years? What secrets are hidden in the stories you tell yourself as you sleep? We'll uncover all this tonight. Not in a rush, not in a textbook way, but like two friends whispering under the stars, letting the questions grow and float gently into the night. I should say, I've done my best to make this story as sleepy and soothing as possible, but dreams can be so wonderfully strange that your mind might wake up with curiosity for a while. That's all right. Let it drift. Wonder is a gentle tide. It always carries you back to rest. If you're already enjoying this quiet moment, I'd love it if you gave this video a gentle like. Maybe even subscribe if you'd like more cozy science journeys like this. And if you're listening from somewhere special, a cabin in the woods, a bustling city, or your favorite cozy chair, let me know in the comments what time it is wherever you're winding down. I love seeing the sleepy map of listeners light up like stars across the night. This story, like everyone here, is for relaxation and curiosity only. It's not a replacement for medical advice or sleep help, just a safe place for your mind to float a little further tonight. So now, take a slow breath, let your eyelids grow heavier, and drift with me into the strange, secret science of why we dream. So, what is a dream, really? It's a question that feels simple at first, but like most things that happen in the dark, it unravels into something softer, something that doesn't always want to be pinned down. A dream is a story, a flicker, a fleeting movie your mind makes all by itself when you're not even trying. As your body lies still, safe and warm under blankets, your brain does anything but sleep. It hums quietly behind your eyelids, stitching together scraps of memory, odd thoughts, hidden feelings, tiny sparks of imagination you didn't even know you were carrying. Some dreams last seconds, some drift on for what feels like hours. Some bloom so vivid you wake up breathless, heart thumping, as if you've run through someone else's life in the dark. Others slip through your fingers the moment you open your eyes, already fading like morning mist. It's strange to think about how natural dreaming is. You don't have to learn how. You don't have to practice or concentrate. Long before you ever spoke your first word or tied your first shoelace, your dreaming mind was already weaving its secret stories each night. Dreams come to babies in the womb. They come to the elderly, curled up under soft quilts. They come to you, night after night, whether you remember them or not. And the truth is, most of us don't remember very much. That can feel unfair sometimes, can it? A whole world built just for you, and it vanishes in the time it takes to turn off an alarm. But even if the dream slips away, your mind still felt it. It still did its quiet work. The colors, the feelings, the symbols, they move through you like a gentle tide, brushing up against memories, emotions, old hopes you didn't know needed stirring. When you dream, it's like your mind puts on a private play. It builds the stage, the lights, the actors, the plot twists, all at once, from nothing but your own thoughts. Sometimes the play makes sense. Sometimes it's so strange you can't put words to it, but even the strangest dreams have a shape. Maybe they feel like puzzles, Maybe they feel like a whisper from the past or a glimpse of something you wish for in the future. No one else will ever see your dreams exactly as you do. They are yours alone, secret messages in your own private language. In the daylight, we often ignore this part of ourselves. We brush away dreams like crumbs from the table, telling ourselves they don't mean much. But deep down, a dream is proof that your mind never truly sleeps. Even when you're resting, there's a tiny part of you that stays awake, roaming through thoughts and memories, stitching them into something only you can feel. And you don't need to do anything special for this. You don't need to light candles or chant or read books. You just need to lie down, close your eyes, and let go. Your body softens, your breath deepens, and your mind takes over. It opens doors you didn't know were there. It wanders through the rooms of your past, your wishes, your fears, your joys. And sometimes it decorates those rooms with the most unexpected furniture, talking animals, upside-down houses, people you miss, places you've never been. Even the dreams you forget shape you in small ways. Maybe they untangle a knot you didn't know was tight. Maybe they help you wake up just a little lighter. Maybe they leave behind only a vague feeling, but that feeling travels with you through the day, like a faint fragrance you can't quite name. It's comforting, isn't it, to know that while you rest so quietly, there's a secret storyteller at work in your mind, that no matter how ordinary your day was, your night might be filled with impossible colors, floating cities, lost friends found again, or adventures that stretch the laws of time and space. So next time you wake up with a dream still clinging to you like a soft thread, pause for a moment, try to hold it before it slips away, and even if you can't remember it at all, know that you dreamed. You always do. Everyone does. It's one of the few things that connects us all, this nightly slip into a world made only for us, by us. So here you are, lying still, your breath calm and slow, your mind is ready. Tonight it will make more stories for you. Some you'll keep, some you'll lose, and that's perfectly fine. After all, not every dream needs to be remembered. Some were only ever meant to keep you company in the dark. Long before we had brain scans or sleep labs, people still dreamed. And just like you, they woke up puzzled by what they saw behind their eyelids. But instead of calling dreams brain static or leftover thoughts, they saw them as something sacred, something sent from far beyond the walls of an ordinary life. Imagine it now. You're lying on a simple bed in an ancient stone room. There is no electric hum, no ticking clock, just the faint glow of a lantern, the crackle of a small fire. Outside, the night is huge and black, a stretch of stars that seem closer than the ground under your feet. In that quiet, your dreams feel larger too. For the ancient Egyptians, dreams were not just random flickers. They were messages from the gods, slipped into the darkness to guide you, warn you, or remind you who you truly were. Pharaohs and common folk alike believed that when you slept, your soul could leave your body for a while, wandering the realms where gods and spirits lived. There, it might overhear a secret or see a glimpse of what was to come. They even had dream books, small papyrus scrolls, or clay tablets where scribes carefully wrote down dream symbols and what they meant. Dreaming of a river overflowing might mean abundance on the way. Dreaming of a lion could signal danger or power waiting for you. If you were unsure, you could visit a temple devoted to dreams. Some temples kept special chambers where people would sleep overnight, hoping the gods would whisper answers into their dreams. It was called dream incubation, a way of planting a question in your mind before you drifted off, then listening for the answer in the dream that came. In ancient Greece, dreams were equally powerful. People would travel long distances to sleep in sacred places called Asclepions, named after Asclepius, the god of healing. They believed dreams could not only reveal your illness, but show you how to cure it. So they lay on stone beds in cool chambers, waiting for a vision. If you were lucky, the god might appear as a gentle figure or a serpent and show you exactly what to do when you woke. Greek philosophers like Aristotle and Hippocrates wondered about dreams too. They puzzled over what they were, physical signs from the body or something divine. But to everyday people, dreams felt too alive, too vivid to be only physical. They felt like an oracle speaking in the hush of the night, a secret messenger that used images instead of words. And it wasn't just the Greeks or Egyptians. Around the world, so many cultures wove dreams into the fabric of daily life. For indigenous peoples, dreams often carried the voices of ancestors or spirits of the land. In some North American tribes, the dream world was as real as the waking world, maybe even more so. Elders listened to the dreams of children, believing they could carry important visions for the whole community. A dream might hold a sign about where to find game, when to move camp, or how to heal a broken heart. The Ojibwe people are known for making dreamcatchers, small circles of woven sinew and feathers hung over a sleeper's bed. The belief was that the night air was filled with dreams, some good, some troubling. The dream catcher was there to sift them. The bad dreams would get tangled in the web and fade with the first light of dawn, while the good ones would slip through the hole in the center and float down the feathers to the dreamer below. Isn't it gentle, that thought, that someone once tied together bits of wood and string and trusted it to guard a child's sleep? Even now, dream catchers hang in bedrooms around the world, a quiet reminder that we still hold on to the idea that dreams matter, that they are not just noise in the mind, but threads connecting us to something deeper. So tonight, as you drift off, imagine what it would feel like to believe so fully that your dreams are more than leftover thoughts, that each one might be a gift from something larger than yourself, a whisper from an ancestor, a glimpse of the future, a guide when your waking eyes can't see the path. Maybe we don't build stone dream temples anymore, or sleep in sacred groves under the open sky. But maybe, in some quiet way, we still hope our dreams hold meaning, that they're not just strange stories, but secret messages meant just for us. So lie back now, listen for the oracle in the dark. Let the ancient dreamers keep you company. Somewhere in your mind, you're part of that same long line of sleepers, waiting for a sign in the stories that come when the world goes still. As we wander deeper into the world of dreams, we meet a figure whose ideas shaped how millions of people would think about what happens behind closed eyelids. His name was Sigmund Freud. You may have heard of him, a man with a sharp mind, a couch in his office, and a belief that the mind hides more than it reveals. Freud lived in Vienna over a century ago. He called himself a doctor of the mind, a psychoanalyst, but he was also, in a way, a dream explorer. He was fascinated by how dreams seem to slip past our daytime logic and spill secrets we might not dare to say out loud. Imagine sitting in his study, dark wood shelves, piles of books, the faint smell of old leather and ink. Patients would lie back on that now famous couch and speak freely about their dreams, no matter how strange or embarrassing. Freud would listen, notebook in hand, eyes half closed, as if he were listening not just to the words but to something underneath. He believed that your mind has different layers. On the surface sits your conscious mind, the part that thinks, plans, edits what you say before you say it. Beneath that is your unconscious, a deep hidden place where old memories, fears, wishes, and desires live. And to Freud, dreams were the secret door that opened onto this hidden room. In his famous book, The Interpretation of Dreams, Freud said that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. They let us peek into the parts of ourselves we hide during the day, feelings we don't know how to say, wants we don't want to admit, questions we're too shy to ask. But the mind doesn't reveal these things outright. It's too careful for that. Instead, it dresses them up in symbols, strange scenes that look like nonsense at first glance, but might hold clues to what we really feel deep inside. A simple dream about losing your teeth, for example, might not just be about your teeth at all. Freud might say it hints at a hidden fear, maybe about aging, losing power, or something changing in your life. A dream about flying could be a longing for freedom that your waking mind won't let you express. Of course, this idea was bold, and not everyone agreed with him. Some people found his theories too focused on desire. He wrote a lot about how childhood, family, and even taboo wishes shape what our sleeping mind brings up. Some of his ideas have not aged well. They sound strange, or too narrow, or tied too tightly to the world he knew. But his core belief that dreams are not random static but have meaning still lingers in how we think today. Freud changed how people talked about dreams. Before him, dreams were often seen as magic, messages from gods, or just nonsense. He suggested they were a window into your hidden self, that you could study them, talk about them, and perhaps understand yourself a little better by paying attention to what your dreaming mind shows you in secret. In modern psychology, not everyone believes dreams always point to secret desires. Science has grown and branched out. Some researchers see dreams more like the brain's way of organizing memories or testing ideas. But you can still feel Freud's influence whenever you hear someone say, "I wonder what that dream really means." His idea planted a seed that grew into therapy, self-reflection, and the everyday habit of asking ourselves, what does my mind want me to know? So tonight, as you rest and your mind begins to drift, you might think of old Freud in his study, scratching notes as he listens. Maybe he'd say your dream of an endless hallway means you're searching for something you can't yet name. Maybe your dream of running late for a train means you're worried about time slipping away. Or maybe it means nothing at all, just a swirl of old memories. No one can say for sure, and maybe that's the beauty of it. A dream is your mind's private letter to itself, sealed in symbols and half-remembered feelings. You don't have to decode every line, you can just notice it. Be curious, let it whisper what it will. For Freud, that whisper was worth listening to. He believed that somewhere behind the strangeness of your sleeping stories lives a deeper part of you, hidden but never lost, waiting to be heard when the world goes quiet. So tonight, trust that your dreaming mind is doing its work, weaving hidden wishes, small fears, tiny joys into a story just for you. And when you wake, you might carry a piece of that secret with you, proof that you are always more than what you see in the mirror. You are a story still unfolding, one dream at a time. As you lie there tonight, tucked into the hush of your room, you might wonder what connects your dreams to the wider world. Maybe your dreams feel so personal, so private, like a secret letter you send only to yourself. But there was once a thinker, a quiet dreamer in his own way, who believed our dreams do something more than replay our private wishes. His name was Carl Jung. If you picture him, imagine a man with kind eyes, a neat mustache, and a mind forever peeking into the shadows. Jung was once Freud's student, but like all good students, he grew into his own ideas. He looked at the swirling images of dreams and wondered, what if they weren't just about you? What if your dreams were also about all of us? Jung called this idea the collective unconscious. It's a beautiful phrase, isn't it? It suggests there's something deep inside your mind that isn't only yours, a shared well filled over centuries with ancient memories and symbols. It's as if when you dream, you draw water from that deep well, water that tastes faintly of every dreamer who came before you. Imagine a dream about a hero on a long road. In your sleep, maybe you're climbing a dark mountain, chased by shadows you don't fully understand. To Jung, this wasn't just your personal fear or wish. He would say this was an echo of the hero's journey, a pattern so old it shows up in stories from every corner of the world. Ancient myths, fairy tales, epic poems, they all tell of the hero who must leave the ordinary world, face trials, meet guides and monsters, and return transformed. Jung believed this hero story lives inside you too. When you dream about overcoming something impossible, facing something frightening, or finding your way back home, you're touching that timeless story. And then there's the shadow, another part of Jung's idea. He thought that each of us carries a shadow self. It's made of the parts of ourselves we hide or don't want to see, the parts that embarrass us, frighten us, or don't fit the mask we wear in daylight. In dreams, the shadow might appear as a dark figure following you down a hallway, or a wild animal in the woods, or even a stranger's face that feels oddly familiar. To Jung, meeting your shadow in a dream isn't something to fear. It's a sign you're ready to notice what you've pushed away, that hidden anger, that lost confidence, that wild part of you you've kept behind locked doors. Dreams give you a safe space to see it, to talk to it, maybe even to make peace with it. He also spoke of archetypes, ancient patterns that shape how we dream. The wise old woman, the trickster, the mother, the child. These figures drift in and out of dreams all over the world. They don't belong to one culture or another. They belong to everyone. You might dream of an old guide showing you a hidden path, or a child leading you back to something you lost long ago. You might dream of a house, not your house, but an endless, strange house with locked rooms and hidden staircases. Jung would say the house is you, each room a part of your mind waiting to be explored. He didn't see dreams as puzzles to be solved once and for all. Instead, he saw them as invitations to look inward, to wonder what story your soul is telling you when the outside world goes quiet. He wanted people to trust that their minds could hold mysteries and that dreams were a map to those mysteries. Sometimes, a Jungian dream feels like a campfire story told by your ancestors with symbols older than words. Maybe that's comforting to think that when you dream of crossing rivers or finding keys or being chased through ancient forests, you're not alone in that strangeness. You're touching a river that flows through everyone who ever dreamed before you. So tonight, as you drift off, remember Jung's quiet thought that you are both unique and connected. Your dreams are yours, but they are also threads in a giant tapestry that stretches across time. Every monster, every hero, every locked door in your dreams might just be another stitch in that vast, beautiful pattern. Close your eyes now. Let your mind wander down that hidden path. You might meet your shadow. You might become the hero. You might find an old key to a door you didn't know you had. And when you wake, you'll carry a piece of that deep collective story back into the morning light, proof that you are never really dreaming alone. So far, we've drifted through ancient beliefs and timeless symbols. We've peered into the hidden corners of the mind with Freud and Jung. But there's another part of this story, the moment when the study of dreams stepped out of myth and theory into the soft glow of laboratory lights. This is the chapter when people began to ask, what if we could measure sleep? What if we could watch a dream being born in real time? The early 20th century was an age of curious minds and simple machines. Scientists had long wondered about sleep, but it was still a mystery. People knew sleep was necessary. They could see what happened when you didn't get enough. You became forgetful, anxious, and your thoughts tangled up like knots in a string. But what exactly was happening in the brain while you slept? That answer lingered just out of reach. In the 1920s, a German psychiatrist named Hans Berger made a discovery that would change everything. He was the first to record electrical activity in the human brain. He invented something called the electroencephalogram, the EEG. It was just a tangle of wires, electrodes, ink pens, and long paper strips, but it let scientists see, for the first time, the quiet flicker of the brain's electrical signals. Imagine someone lying still in a quiet lab. A cap of tiny metal discs rests on their head, each one connected by wires to the EEG machine. In the dim light, a roll of paper slides by, and the pen quivers and jumps as the brain's tiny currents play out in delicate waves. For the first time in history, sleep had a visible pattern, a signature written in lines and squiggles. When Berger first saw these brain waves, he realized the mind was never truly still. Even in the deepest sleep, the brain hummed with hidden rhythms. Other scientists joined in. They watched, recorded, compared. Bit by bit, a clearer picture of sleep began to form. In the 1950s, two researchers in Chicago made a discovery that would flip the study of dreams upside down. Their names were Nathaniel Kleitman and his student, Eugene Esserinsky. Late one night, they were watching the EEG machine and noticed something odd. The brain waves were suddenly active, not calm and slow, but lively, almost like a waking mind. They checked their sleeping volunteer and saw something else. Beneath the eyelids, the eyes were darting back and forth, as if watching a movie only they could see. They called this stage rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep for short. This was the breakthrough. It was as if they had caught the brain dreaming red-handed. They woke their volunteers during this stage, and again, people reported vivid dreams. Sleep, they learned, was not just one long, peaceful drift. It was made of cycles. We slip into deep, restful stages where the brain's waves slow down, then rise back up into REM, where dreaming happens most vividly. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, repeating through the night like gentle tides. The birth of sleep science changed how we think about dreams. It gave us tools to peek inside the sleeping brain. No more guessing what was happening behind closed eyelids. We could see the patterns, the stages, the moments when dreams are most likely to bloom. These early sleep labs were quiet places, padded rooms, humming machines, rows of paper charts curling to the floor. Scientists sat in the half-dark, watching the flicker of eyelids, the spike of a brainwave, the tiny twitches of fingers. Some volunteers dreamed of flying, some dreamed of falling, and every dream left its mark on the paper, a tiny wave of electricity that would drift into the next day's findings. Today, sleep science is more advanced than Hans Berger could have ever imagined. We have brain scans that show whole maps of dreaming activity. We have sensors that track every heartbeat and breath, but in many ways the spirit is the same. A quiet room, a sleeper tucked under blankets. A small group of curious minds wondering what secret worlds unfold when the eyes close. And maybe that's comforting, to know that while you lie here tonight, your own brain carries that same hidden glow. Even now, somewhere in the world, someone is watching a new sleep study unfold. Another chart unspools. Another dream flickers across the mind's screen. The work of uncovering sleep's mysteries continues, one gentle wave at a time. So tonight, as your eyes grow heavier, think of those scientists, the hum of the early EEG, the soft blink of eyelids under dim lights. And remember that your dreams are not just ancient stories or personal symbols, they are living sparks, measured in tiny waves, proof that your mind stays busy, weaving its secret movies long after you drift away. Tonight, as you lie here, safe and still, your body slowly lets go of the day. Muscles loosen, breaths grow slower, thoughts drift like leaves on a quiet stream. You may think sleep is just one long, deep pool of rest, but inside your mind, there's so much more happening. When scientists first peered into the world of sleep with those early EEG machines, they discovered something unexpected. Sleep is not one single thing. It is a cycle, a series of stages, each with its own secret work. And tucked inside these stages is one that is both strange and beautiful. It's called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. The name comes from what scientists first saw through heavy eyelids, the eyes of sleepers flickering and darting back and forth, as if they were watching an invisible movie only they could see. It was a clue that inside the resting body, something vivid was unfolding. As your body lies still in bed, your mind in REM sleep lights up like a city at night. Brain scans show that the parts of your brain that handle memory, emotion, and creativity are awake and busy. Your brainwaves, which slowed down in the deepest stages of sleep, now look more like waking ones, fast, lively, tangled up in stories. In REM, you dream. Not that you can't dream in other stages, but these dreams are often the longest, the wildest, the ones that feel like a movie with a plot that twists and bends, and sometimes makes no sense at all. One moment you're flying over oceans, the next you're back in your childhood kitchen. Scenes slip into each other like watercolor paint in the rain. Why does this happen? No one knows every answer yet, but what we do know is that sleep seems to play with the raw ingredients of your mind. Memories are replayed and rearranged. Emotions are softened or amplified. Problems may find new pathways. It's as if your brain, untethered by daylight logic, can wander down unexpected corridors. But there's another curious part of REM sleep. While your mind is racing, your body is almost completely still. Scientists call it atonia, a gentle paralysis that keeps your muscles from acting out your dreams. Imagine if every dream of running or climbing or fighting were translated into your real arms and legs. You'd be thrashing about all night. Instead, your brain sends signals to shut down most voluntary muscles. Your eyes flicker, your breathing changes, but the rest of you stays safely wrapped in your blankets. This delicate balance, a mind wide awake in its own secret theater, a body held gently in stillness, is what makes REM sleep so remarkable. It's nature's way of letting you roam through imaginary worlds without falling out of bed or leaping into the dark. You drift in and out of REM throughout the night. In a typical sleep cycle, you may pass through it 4 or 5 times. The first REM stage might be just a few minutes long. By morning, the final one could stretch close to an hour. That's why you may notice dreams feel longer or more vivid just before you wake up. Some scientists believe REM helps us process strong feelings. Think of all the things your mind absorbs each day. Fears, joys, puzzles, hopes. REM may act like a quiet librarian, sorting through the shelves, filing away memories, easing the weight of heavy thoughts. Others see REM as a playground for creativity. Those sudden solutions to a problem you wake up with, that surprising idea you jot down before breakfast. Perhaps they took shape while your mind drifted freely in the open fields of a dream. Of course, REM sleep doesn't always feel gentle. Sometimes, when your mind is tangled in worry or past hurt, dreams can turn dark. Nightmares often bloom in REM too, a sign that the same stage that brings you wonder and insight also gives space for old fears to echo back. But even then, your mind is doing its secret work. Fear confronted in sleep can soften by daylight. Questions asked in the middle of a dream may find answers when you open your eyes. So tonight, as you slip deeper into sleep, remember that part of you will be wide awake, not your muscles, not your body, but your dreaming mind. Let it run, let it play, let it wander through memories and moments that belong to you alone. Your body will keep you safe, stilled by nature's quiet wisdom. And when morning comes, you may carry a piece of that secret stage with you, a feeling you can't quite name, a story half remembered, a sense that for a few hours your mind traveled far while your body lay perfectly still under the hush of night. By now, you might be wondering how many times you drift through that secret world each night. Is it just one long dream that carries you like a gentle river until morning? Or do you slip in and out of many dreams, each one its own small story, hidden behind your closed eyes? The truth is, you dream far more often than you might think. Scientists have found that most people dream 4 to 6 times every single night. Each dream is like a little boat launched into the darkness. Some float close to the surface, where you can reach for them in the morning, while others sink into the deep, where they stay quiet and forgotten. Each time your brain cycles through all the stages of sleep, it eventually drifts into that special place called REM sleep, the dream stage. One full cycle takes about 90 minutes, so over the course of a good night's rest, you ride that cycle again and again like gentle waves on a dark sea. Every time you reach REM, another dream is born. Your first dream of the night might be short, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes. It slips in softly while the world outside is still full of evening shadows. As the night goes on, your REM stages stretch out like a cat in the sun. By morning, your final dream may last half an hour or longer. Sometimes it feels so real that when you wake up, you wonder for a moment where you really are, your bed or that dream that felt like another life. But here's the curious part. If we dream so often, why do we remember so little? How is it that some dreams fade in the blink of an eye, while others linger like the taste of a sweet fruit, hours or even years later? Our brains are full of mysteries, but this one has a gentle logic to it. Dreams live in a strange space between sleep and waking. When you dream, your brain is busy, your imagination wide open, but the parts of your mind that store memories, especially short-term ones, are not fully awake. Think of it like trying to scoop water with your hands. You may catch some of it, but much of it slips through your fingers before you can even notice. Sometimes you do remember. Maybe you wake up in the middle of a dream, blinking at the ceiling with your heart still racing. Or maybe your final dream ends just before dawn, its images sitting on the edge of your mind, waiting to be carried into daylight. Those dreams feel crisp, full of moments you can tell someone about over breakfast, but often within minutes, they melt away like breath on a mirror. Scientists think this forgetfulness might be a blessing in disguise. Imagine if every detail of every dream stayed with you. Your mind would be cluttered with half-finished stories, impossible scenes, and emotional echoes that never fade. By letting most dreams dissolve, your brain makes room for the waking world, the fresh day, the new memories, the tasks waiting for you. Still, some dreams stick around, catching on the hooks of your mind. Often they are the ones that stir strong emotions, fear, joy, surprise, longing. Your brain holds on to feelings more tightly than facts. That's why a strange, vivid dream about flying over mountains might stay with you forever, even if you forget what you had for lunch yesterday. There are gentle ways to hold on to more dreams if you want to. Some people keep a small notebook by their bed, a dream journal where they scribble down fragments as soon as they wake. Even a single word, water, forest, lost, can open the door again later. Others take a few slow breaths before sleep, whispering an intention. Tonight I will remember. Sometimes that tiny wish is enough to tug a dream back from the edge of forgetting. So tonight, as you slip under the covers, remember this: you are not drifting through just one story. You are setting sail on a small fleet of dreams. Some will be brief and blurry, gentle murmurs in the dark. Others might feel sharp and bright, so real you wake with their echoes in your chest. Whether you remember them or not, they are there, each one a quiet reminder that your mind is always working, always weaving, always dreaming, like little stars that shine behind your closed eyes. These dreams light up parts of you that waking life never fully sees. And maybe, just maybe, you'll wake tomorrow with a soft thread of a dream still wrapped around your thoughts, proof that you spent the night wandering through worlds only you could visit. And that, in itself, is a kind of quiet magic worth treasuring. If you've ever woken up with a heart still beating fast from a dream you swear you could touch, you already know not all dreams feel the same. Some arrive like vivid paintings, thick with color and emotion. Others slip away before you can even grasp their edges, like a whisper heard through a closed door. What makes the difference? Why do some dreams stick in your mind for years, while others dissolve before you even open your eyes? Tonight, let's drift gently into that question. Think back to a dream you still remember. Maybe it was from childhood, that strange night you dreamed you were flying just above the rooftops of your neighborhood. Or maybe it was one of those unsettling dreams where you stood on a stage with no words to say, or a tender one where you spoke to someone you lost long ago. Dream researchers tell us that one reason vivid dreams stay with us is because of how they make us feel. The brain is wired to hold on to emotion. Joy, fear, sorrow, surprise, all these feelings light up parts of your mind that tell you this matters, this is worth keeping. When you sleep, your emotional brain, the limbic system, hums with activity. Your amygdala, which handles fear and strong feelings, can be busier during dreaming than when you're awake. So if your dream touches that part of you, it leaves a deeper trace. Sometimes the emotion is gentle. A dream of walking through a field of wildflowers can stay with you because it wrapped you in calm. Other times it's sharp. Nightmares, for example, cling like burrs because the fear they stir feels real. Your body doesn't always know the difference. Your heart may race, your breath may quicken, your muscles may tense, all while you lie safe and still in your bed. But emotion is just one piece of the puzzle. Another reason some dreams burn bright in your memory is because they are unusual. They bend reality in ways your waking mind never would. The stranger the dream, the more it stands out against the normal pattern of your days. Imagine you dream you're back in your childhood home, but the walls are made of glass and your old dog is speaking to you in a language you somehow understand. Your brain is not used to those combinations. It cannot file them away easily with the ordinary memories of breakfast or traffic lights or errands. So it keeps the dream nearby, at least for a while, replaying it like an unsolved riddle. Then there are the dreams that borrow pieces from real life, but stitch them together in odd ways. You might see a face from years ago mixed with a place you've never been. Or you dream you're late for an exam you never studied for, though you graduated long ago. These odd mashups make the mind pause. It tries to make sense of the nonsense, and in doing so, holds on to it longer. The timing of your dream also plays a part. Dreams that happen in the early morning hours, when your REM sleep is longest and your body is closer to waking, are more likely to stick. If you wake up in the middle of one, your mind has a better chance to grab hold of the story before it drifts away. Sometimes, though, a dream feels so real that it becomes more than just a memory. It becomes a feeling that lingers throughout the day. You might find yourself walking to work, carrying a soft ache in your chest for someone you only met in a dream, or you catch yourself smiling at a memory that isn't real, but feels true just the same. There's no magic trick to make every dream vivid, but if you want to hold on to them, there are gentle things you can try. Keep a notebook by your bed. When you first wake, even before you reach for your phone or say good morning, lie still for a moment. Let your mind wander back into the dream. Then write down whatever you can, even a few small details, a color, a phrase, a face, can open the door later. And if you forget, that's all right too. Most dreams fade for a reason. Your mind knows how to carry what you need and release what you don't. Sometimes a dream's greatest gift is the feeling it leaves behind, a trace of wonder, a flicker of surprise, a reminder that every night your mind is free to roam beyond the walls of your waking world. So tonight, as you drift off, know that some dreams will stay bright, others will slip away. Let that be part of the magic. Not every dream needs to be caught. Some are meant to wash through you, like soft waves in the dark, shaping you in ways you can't quite see, and that is its own quiet gift. If you've ever fallen asleep with a mind full of tangled thoughts and woken up feeling lighter somehow, you felt the quiet work your brain does each night. It's as if while you rest, someone sweeps the floors of your mind, dusts the shelves, and tucks away the clutter. Scientists believe this gentle overnight housekeeping may be one of the most important jobs your dreams perform. It's called the memory cleanup theory. The idea is simple but beautiful. Your dreams might help your brain decide what to keep, what to toss, and what to gently file away for later. Picture your mind at the end of a long day. You've seen faces, read words, learned new facts, solved problems, and felt countless little emotions. Each one leaves a trace like footprints in fresh snow. If your brain tried to hold on to every single step, it would soon be buried. So at night, as you drift into sleep, your brain gets to work. It sweeps through the day's memories, sorting them into piles. Important memories, the ones tied to strong feelings or new learning, are wrapped up carefully, packed away in long-term storage. Others, like what color shirt your neighbor wore, or what you ate for lunch 2 weeks ago, may fade like chalk on a rainy sidewalk. Dreams are thought to be part of this sorting process. As you enter REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming happens, your brain replays and reweaves the day's scenes, but it doesn't do it exactly as they were. Instead, it stirs them together like a soup, testing how different ideas might connect. You might dream you're back in your childhood school, but your classmates have the faces of people you met yesterday, or you're solving a puzzle with no answer, only to wake up feeling as though something inside you has been gently reorganized. This mixing of the old and new is your brain's way of asking, does this memory matter? Does it belong with something we already know? Should we keep it close or let it drift away? Think of it like tidying a closet. The brain is the careful hand that holds each item up to the light. Some memories stay on the hanger, some get folded neatly into boxes, and some are set aside with gratitude, no longer needed, but once important. Scientists have found that people who are learning new skills, a language, a musical instrument, even a tricky dance step, often dream about it. These dreams aren't random, they're like little practice runs, weaving the new knowledge into the brain's tapestry, strengthening the connections so they stay put. Sometimes the dreams feel strange, almost nonsensical, but even the odd ones may help. By jumbling up memories, your brain might be testing out new patterns, exploring creative solutions it would never find in the light of day. There's a gentle wisdom to this. We spend our waking hours gathering, absorbing, holding, sleep, and the dreams that come with it give us a chance to let go, to make space, to choose what parts of the day become part of who we are tomorrow. And it isn't just about clearing out the mental attic. This nighttime cleaning keeps your brain healthy. Some scientists believe that while you sleep, waves of fluid wash through your brain's cells, flushing out toxins that build up when you're awake. It's like a deep, quiet rinse, leaving your mind refreshed for the next day. So, if you've ever woken up from a dream that seemed to make no sense, you were wandering through a strange city, holding a book written in a language you couldn't read. Maybe it was just your brain sorting the shelves, testing which thoughts to keep, which to release. And if you wake with the sense that something heavy has lifted, trust that feeling. Your mind has done its work well. You don't need to remember every dream for it to help you. Tonight, as you lie down, know that your brain is ready to do its quiet magic again. It will sweep the cluttered corners, shine a light on what needs to be kept, and let the rest fade softly into the shadows. This is not wasted time. It is a kind of gentle alchemy, turning the day's chaos into tomorrow's clarity. The dreams that come may be strange or sweet, fleeting or vivid, but each one plays its part in keeping your mind clear and your memories true. So close your eyes, let the day slip from your shoulders. Somewhere behind your eyelids, your brain's careful hands are already at work, carrying you toward morning with everything you need and nothing more. Sometimes the night feels like an open field where your thoughts can finally roam free. In the dark, with your eyes closed, your waking worries slip into the background and something softer rises to the surface. This is where your dreams begin their quiet work, not just sorting memories, but tending to feelings too. It may surprise you to know that many scientists believe dreams are a kind of therapy we give ourselves every single night. While your body rests, your mind wanders through old hurts, tangled fears, small joys and big hopes, working them over like stones, smoothed by a gentle river. When you drift into REM sleep, that special stage where dreams grow vivid, parts of your brain that handle emotion light up like tiny lanterns in the dark. The amygdala, which processes fear, the hippocampus, which holds memories that carry weight, the prefrontal cortex, where you make sense of it all. They whisper to each other while you sleep. Sometimes, a dream will bring an old fear back to you. You might find yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, feeling the drop in your stomach, or you're searching for someone in a place that keeps changing. These dreams may leave you waking with a lingering sense of unease, but they are not your enemy. They are your mind's way of gently untying knots that daylight kept tight. Some researchers think that by replaying these feelings in a safe, unreal place, your brain helps you make peace with them, like practicing a scary scene on a stage where no harm can come to you. You wake up a little braver, a little more at ease, though you may not know exactly why. Dreams don't only bring up fear, they help us cradle sadness too. If you've ever dreamed of a loved one who has passed on, you know that bittersweet ache that comes with seeing them alive again. In those moments, your mind may be stitching together old memories with your longing. It is a quiet reunion that words cannot hold. Sometimes dreams are pure joy. They remind you what it feels like to laugh, to love, to be surprised. In this way, they balance the heavy work of sorting grief and fear. They lift you up even as they work through what weighs you down. But dreams are not always kind. For some, especially those who carry deep wounds, sleep can become a battleground. People who have experienced trauma, soldiers, survivors, anyone who has faced something too big to hold while awake, can find that their dreams are hijacked by the past. These are the nightmares of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. In these dreams, the brain replays the worst moments in sharp, unforgiving detail. The fear feels real because the emotional centers of the brain are wide awake, but the parts that help you know it's only a dream, the rational parts, stay quiet. So the terror loops on, and it can feel cruel, but even here, scientists believe there is a reason. Your mind is trying, again and again, to make sense of what happened, to find a way to heal a wound too deep for words alone. Sometimes, this effort needs help, therapy, support, safe spaces to talk about what repeats in the dark. And yet, even with nightmares, the power of dreaming shows itself. When trauma survivors learn new ways to reshape their dreams, to rewrite an ending, to face what once chased them, healing can begin. Some therapies even teach people to become aware inside the nightmare, to stand in that frightening dream and change its shape. So each night, whether you remember your dreams or not, know that your mind is doing its quiet work. It stitches together the torn edges of old pain. It lets you feel what you were too busy or too frightened to feel while the sun was up. It releases the tears that could not fall, or the laughter that could not find its way out. Dreams are not perfect healers, but they are part of the gentle machinery that keeps your heart soft and your spirit whole. They remind you that it's all right to hurt, to hope, to let go. So tonight, as you lie down and close your eyes, trust that your mind will wander where it needs to go. It may bring you scenes that feel strange, or shadows that feel too close, or it may lift you into a memory so sweet it makes you smile in your sleep. Whatever comes, let it pass through you like a soft tide. Your dreams are not trying to frighten you, they are trying to heal you in the only way they know how. In whispers, in symbols, in stories that drift behind your eyelids until the morning light. Sometimes, when the world is quiet and you drift into sleep, your mind does something wonderful. It picks up the puzzles you left scattered on your desk, the half-answered questions you pushed aside, the tiny knots in your thoughts, and in the deep hush of dreaming, it tries to solve them. You might not notice it happening. You close your eyes with a worry tucked under your pillow and wake up with an idea you didn't know you had, a gentle click, a piece falling into place, a tiny eureka that seems to come from nowhere, but in truth, it came from you, from your dreaming brain working quietly while you rest. Dreams have been part of great discoveries for centuries. If you look back through history, you'll find these sleepy bursts of brilliance again and again. There is the story of the chemist Auguste Kekulé, who puzzled over how certain molecules were arranged. One night, he dreamed of a snake biting its own tail, forming a circle. He woke up and realized this image matched the structure of the benzene ring, a key piece of organic chemistry. Or the composer Giuseppe Tartini, who struggled to finish a violin sonata. One night, he dreamed he made a deal with the devil, who played the most beautiful piece he had ever heard. When Tartini woke up, he scribbled down what he could remember. The result became his famous Devil's Trill Sonata. Writers, scientists, artists, all have found inspiration waiting for them behind closed eyelids. Mary Shelley, who was just a teenager at the time, dreamed of a scientist who gave life to a stitched-together creature. When she woke, she began to write Frankenstein, a nightmare that became a novel that has lived for centuries. Why does the brain do this? Why are dreams so good at weaving old ideas into something new? Some scientists think it has to do with how our minds work when we are awake. In the daylight, your brain follows patterns. It checks boxes. It tries to be efficient. It solves problems the way you were taught to solve them, step by step, piece by piece. But dreams are not efficient. They are wild. They wander. They break rules. When you sleep, the rational part of your brain, the one that says, "That's impossible," or "That makes no sense," grows quiet. The parts that make connections, find patterns, and stir up imagination light up instead. So you dream you're flying through a city you've never seen, but the city is somehow familiar. You speak a language you do not know. You find yourself solving a puzzle that, when you wake, has an answer waiting in your mind. It is as if the dream gives you permission to think the unthinkable, to test ideas you'd brush aside while awake. The brain wanders through its own corridors, opening doors you didn't even know were there. This doesn't mean every dream hides a great discovery. Sometimes the ideas are jumbled nonsense. A pink elephant reading a newspaper, a staircase that turns into an ocean. But even these strange images may help your mind make new links, softening rigid thoughts so they can bend in useful ways. Some people have learned to use this gift on purpose. Thomas Edison, the famous inventor, was known for napping with metal balls in his hands. As he drifted towards sleep, his mind would slip into that dreamlike state where ideas flow more freely. If he nodded off completely, the balls would fall, clatter to the floor, and wake him up, often just as an idea was forming. He trusted the edge of sleep to do what his waking mind could not. You do not have to be a scientist or an inventor to feel this. Maybe you have gone to bed with a stubborn problem in your heart, a decision you cannot make, a question you cannot answer, and in the morning the sharpness of it has dulled, or an unexpected idea greets you over your first cup of coffee. That is your mind's quiet genius at work. So tonight, if something weighs on you, an idea you can't quite grasp, a plan you can't quite piece together, trust that your dreams may carry it for you for a while. Your sleeping brain is wiser than you know. Let it wander. Let it stir the puzzle pieces you left behind. You may wake to find that the missing part was there all along, hidden in the soft folds of your mind, waiting for a dream to bring it home. There is something wonderfully comforting about knowing that even when you think you are doing nothing, your brain is quietly at work. There is a hidden orchestra inside your mind that plays on in the background, drifting, humming, weaving connections while you sit on a bus, stare out the window, or drift off to sleep. This gentle hum is called the default mode network. Scientists sometimes describe it as the brain's idle mode. But idle doesn't mean lazy. It means free. It means your thoughts can roam where they please, untethered by the lists and tasks that fill your days. When you are awake and focused, when you are solving a math problem, reading a sign, cooking dinner, certain parts of your brain snap to attention. But when you rest, when you let your mind wander, different regions light up together. The default mode network connects areas that handle memories, self-reflection, imagination. It is like a quiet library tucked behind the chatter of your conscious mind. You have probably felt it without knowing its name. Think of the way your mind drifts when you lie in bed, eyes closed just before sleep. You replay moments from the day. You imagine something that hasn't happened yet. You wonder what you might say to someone you miss. These drifting thoughts feel random, but they are not wasted. They are your mind's way of stitching your past and your present into something whole. Daydreams live here too. Maybe you are washing dishes, and suddenly you are somewhere else in your mind, standing on a beach you visited once, or seeing yourself in a future you wish for. Or you remember a conversation from long ago, your mind turning it over like a smooth stone in your pocket. This wandering is not pointless. Studies show that when your default mode network hums, your brain makes connections it could not make when you are focused. It links pieces that seemed unrelated. It rehearses what you might do next. It dips into old memories and finds new ways to understand them. This is one reason why people often have creative insights when they are relaxed. The best ideas sometimes come not when you chase them, but when you stop trying. When you take a walk, lie in the bath, or sit in a patch of sunlight, doing nothing at all. The default mode network is awake, then piecing together your questions with answers you did not know you had. And when you fall asleep, this wandering deepens. The default mode network remains active while you dream. It stirs memories, fears, wishes, and odd scraps of imagination into the swirling tapestry you see behind your eyelids. Even as your body lies still, your mind wanders through a maze of possibility. It is amazing to think that your brain needs this time. It does not only rest when you switch off, it dreams for you, day and night. It hums with unfinished stories, old echoes, sudden sparks of what if. Some scientists believe this is why we need moments of quiet. If you fill every gap with noise, if you never let your mind drift, the default mode network stays in the background, waiting for you to give it space. But when you give it room to breathe, your brain rewards you with new connections, small solutions, a feeling of understanding something bigger than yourself. In modern life, we are so good at being busy. Our days are packed with messages, screens, instructions, distractions. But in all that noise, the default mode network waits like an old friend, ready to wander with you into places you forgot to visit. So tonight, as you lie down and your eyes grow heavy, trust that this gentle hum inside your mind will keep going. It will carry your day's memories and tomorrow's dreams like seeds floating on a breeze. It will drift through your stories, your secret wishes, your tiny questions that don't yet have answers. Let your mind wander where it wants. Your dreams and your daydreams are both gifts from this quiet part of you that knows how to rest and roam at the same time. And when you wake, you may find that something soft and surprising has taken root overnight, an idea, a memory, or just a sense that your mind is bigger and braver than you remembered. You do not have to try. Just breathe. The default mode network will do its gentle work for you every night and every quiet moment you allow it. It is your mind's favorite place to wander, a calm corner of yourself that is never really empty at all. Picture this. You are dreaming. Maybe you are walking through a hallway that feels both familiar and strange. The walls bend at odd angles. You turn a corner and find a door that shouldn't be there. You reach for the handle and pause. Something inside you whispers, "Wait, this doesn't make sense. This must be a dream." And then, like a lamp flicking on in a dark room, you know. You are still dreaming, but you are awake inside the dream, fully aware, floating in a world built by your mind, where the rules are soft and the edges blur like watercolor. This is lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is what happens when the dreamer becomes conscious within the dream. You realize you are dreaming, yet you stay inside the story your brain has woven for you. You do not wake up. Not fully. You hover at the boundary between sleep and awareness, a foot in each world. For some people, this happens by accident. They dream so vividly, so strangely, that something clicks. They test the world around them. They push a finger through a palm. They flick a light switch that refuses to work. These tiny checks tip them off. This is not real. This is a dream. Others learn to do it on purpose. They keep dream journals, write down every detail they can remember each morning. They practice reality checks while awake, counting fingers, reading a sentence twice to see if it changes. They train their minds to notice when the impossible unfolds. And over time, they find themselves waking up inside their dreams more often, like slipping through a secret doorway only they can open. Lucid dreaming is not new. Stories of it drift through old texts and quiet traditions. Ancient Buddhist monks practiced a form of dream yoga, training themselves to stay mindful as they slept. They believed that awareness within dreams could reveal deeper truths about the mind, showing that even waking life was just another dream to observe. But what does it feel like, really, to stand awake inside a dream? Some say it is like holding a spark in your hands, fragile, fleeting, bright. At first, your heart may race with excitement. You feel the thrill of knowing you can bend the dreamscape to your will. Want to fly? Spread your arms and lift into the sky. Want to talk to someone you miss? Imagine their face and they appear, as real as memory. There is a softness to lucid dreams too. You may find yourself wandering through impossible places, cities made of glass, forests that glow under moonlight, and marveling at the creativity of your own mind. Colors feel richer, emotions feel sharper. You become both the dreamer and the explorer, walking through the garden you planted while you slept. But staying lucid is not always easy. Some people wake up the moment they realize they are dreaming. Awareness can be too bright a light for the delicate fabric of sleep. Others drift in and out, lucid for a moment, then swept back into the story. They watch the dream slip through their fingers like water. Scientists have studied this strange state with curiosity. In sleep labs, lucid dreamers have been asked to move their eyes in certain patterns to signal that they know they are dreaming. Their brains show a unique pattern of activity, a bridge between the deep, restorative waves of REM sleep and the alertness of waking thought. It is as if a small island of wakefulness has surfaced in the ocean of sleep. Who can lucid dream? The truth is, most people can, at least once in their lives. Some find it easier than others. Children often do it naturally, their minds unburdened by rules and logic. Some adults keep this gift into later years, slipping into lucidity without effort. Others practice, again and again, nudging open that door between sleeping and waking until it swings wide enough to step through. Is it safe? For most people, yes. Lucid dreaming can be playful, a gentle adventure in a world that does not judge or punish. It can ease nightmares too. People who struggle with repeating bad dreams sometimes learn to turn toward the monster instead of running. They remind themselves, this is a dream, I am safe, I can change this. And sometimes the monster softens, the fear loosens its grip. But lucid dreaming is not about control alone. It is about wonder. It is about remembering that even in sleep, you carry a spark of curiosity, a reminder that your mind can wake up in the most unlikely places and wander through the wildest landscapes it can dream up. So tonight, as you drift off, think of the hidden door waiting for you. Think of the moment when your dreaming self might pause and whisper, "This is not quite real." And if you find yourself awake inside your own dream, take a deep breath, look around, fly if you want to, talk to the shadows, walk barefoot through a world that belongs only to you, and know that when you wake, the dream will stay tucked inside you like a secret, proof that sometimes even sleep has its little awakenings. Close your eyes for a moment and remember the last time you felt your feet leave the ground. not in waking life, but in the private cinema of your dreams. Maybe you felt the gentle lift of wind under your arms, the weight of your body falling away as you soared high above rooftops and treetops. Or maybe you remember that sudden drop, the breathless moment when the floor gives out beneath you and you tumble through the air, your stomach lurching in that familiar way that makes you clutch your sheets when you wake. Flying dreams, falling dreams, those curious out-of-body moments when you hover at the ceiling looking down at your sleeping form. They are some of the most common stories our minds tell when we sleep. Almost everyone has had one at least once in their lives. They are so universal, so vivid, that people all over the world, in every age and culture, have whispered about their meaning. So, why does your brain keep returning to these same dream themes? Why do we dream of flying like birds, of falling like stones, or of floating far from our bodies? Scientists and storytellers alike have tried to explain this mystery. Some say it is rooted in biology, some in deep symbols that humans have carried for thousands of years. But before we unravel the theories, let's linger for a while in the dream itself. Imagine it now. You are standing on a street that looks like your neighborhood, only brighter, softer at the edges. You feel light on your feet, almost weightless. Then, without warning, you push off the ground and the air holds you up. There is no struggle, no wind resistance, just you gliding over rooftops, drifting above trees that sway gently below. The world that felt so heavy a moment ago shrinks to a patchwork quilt. You tilt your arms and you rise higher. You turn your head and the landscape obeys. It is freedom in its purest form, a flight unburdened by physics or fear. Some say flying dreams are born from our deep desire to break free, to lift off from daily life, to escape the rules that tie us down, gravity, responsibilities, the simple fact that humans were never built to soar on their own. In waking life, we are bound by the ground beneath our feet, but in dreams, the mind writes its own rules. Here, you can fly as high and as far as you dare. Psychologists like Freud believed flying dreams might be tied to desire, the thrill of overcoming obstacles, or the wish to feel powerful and untouchable. Carl Jung might say that flying connects us to the archetype of transcendence, the human wish to rise above the ordinary and glimpse something bigger. And then there are the falling dreams. So many people wake up with their heart pounding, breath caught in their chest, after feeling themselves drop through an endless void, a sudden misstep on an invisible ledge, a slip from a rooftop that sends your stomach flipping. You jerk awake just before you hit the ground, gasping in the dark. Some scientists think falling dreams are linked to a physical sensation called a hypnic jerk, that sudden twitch of your muscles as your body relaxes into sleep. Your brain senses your body letting go and weaves a quick story around it. You are falling, you are losing control, and just before you crash, your mind snaps you back to waking safety. But falling dreams may also echo something deeper, a worry about losing stability, losing your grip on something important in your waking life. Or maybe they are just your brain's playful way of testing what happens when there is nothing to hold you up. And then there are dreams where you feel you have stepped outside yourself. Out-of-body dreams. You may find yourself floating near the ceiling, looking down at your own sleeping form. You see the shape of your blankets, the curl of your hair on the pillow. Sometimes you drift through walls or soar through the night sky. Some people wake from these dreams convinced they have glimpsed another layer of reality, where the soul wanders while the body rests. Scientists often explain these moments as tricks of the brain, your mind's remarkable ability to imagine a view of yourself from a place you have never truly seen. But for many dreamers, The experience feels so real, so unexplainably vivid, that they hold on to the memory long after dawn. So why do we dream these dreams again and again? The soaring, the falling, the floating free. Part of the answer may lie in the way our minds build stories. Dreams love big symbols, archetypes that every human recognizes. Flight is freedom, falling is fear, floating above your body is the oldest question of all. Are we more than what we see in the mirror? These dreams may not come with clear instructions. They do not tell you exactly what they mean, but they remind you that inside you lives a storyteller who knows how to speak in images, in feelings, in the lightness of a dream flight over the moon. So tonight, when you finally drift off, imagine what it would feel like to leave the ground, to fly, to fall, to hover at the edge of your own sleeping mind. Let your dream carry you wherever it wants. And when you wake, you might find a little piece of that freedom lingers, like the trace of wings on your pillow. Some nights, even the gentlest dreamers find themselves pulled into shadows. You lie in your warm bed, safe and still, yet behind your eyelids a darker world unfolds. A hallway that never ends, a shape in the corner of your vision, a chase you cannot outrun. You wake with a jolt, heart pounding, sheets tangled around your legs. For a moment, the room feels different. The dark corners seem deeper, but slowly you remember it was only a dream, a nightmare. No one likes to think about nightmares, but they are part of this strange landscape of sleep. Just as your mind creates soft fields and flying skies, it also knows how to conjure monsters. Nightmares are the dark side of dreaming, the shadowy stories that echo our fears, and sometimes hold them up for us to see. But why do we have nightmares? Why does the mind slip into places that make the heart race and the skin prickle? It's a question people have asked for as long as we have dreamed. Imagine for a moment our ancestors huddled around a fire under a sky full of stars. Out there in the dark, danger waited, predators, storms, a rustle in the grass could mean life or death. To survive, our early human brains became expert at spotting threats. Even while resting, the mind stayed alert, learning to recognize patterns, ready to shout a silent warning if something felt wrong. Some scientists believe nightmares may be an echo of that ancient survival instinct, a kind of built-in alarm system. When you dream of falling, being chased, or hiding from something you cannot see, your brain is rehearsing how to react. It's playing out danger in the safety of your mind, so you wake a little more prepared for the next rustle in the grass. This idea is called the threat simulation theory. It suggests that our worst dreams have helped our species stay alive. By practicing fear, by imagining what could go wrong, we sharpen our senses, even if we don't realize it. And yet, nightmares are not just ancient echoes. They are shaped by your life, too. Sometimes they come after a difficult day, when your mind is busy sorting through stress. Other times, they appear after a scary movie or a harsh news story, as if your brain can't help but replay what frightened you. And for some, nightmares are tied to deeper wounds. People who have faced trauma, like soldiers, survivors, or those who have lived through accidents or loss, may find their nights haunted by the same terrifying images again and again. These are not ordinary bad dreams. They are called PTSD nightmares, and they can feel so real that the fear lingers long after sunrise. The brain, in these moments, tries to make sense of what happened by reliving it over and over, even when it hurts. Even when it hurts. Children, too, know the sting of nightmares. A child's world is still new, still full of shadows they haven't yet named. Nightmares often visit kids more than adults. Monsters under the bed, a wolf at the window, a fall from the tallest tree. The mind of a child tests their courage in the safest place it knows, the dream world. But not all nightmares have a clear cause. Sometimes they drift in like a passing storm, unexpected, unexplained. You may wake breathless, unsure what scared you, only a tangle of half-remembered images trailing you back to waking life. So what can you do when nightmares come? Some people find comfort in small rituals, a nightlight, a warm drink before bed, a gentle story to ease the mind away from worries. Others keep a dream journal, writing down the fragments before they fade. Naming a fear can sometimes make it smaller, less sharp in the quiet light of morning. And for the most stubborn nightmares, the ones that return night after night, therapists sometimes teach a gentle skill called imagery rehearsal therapy. It's like rewriting the script of your dream while awake. You close your eyes, remember the nightmare, then imagine a different ending. If you always fall, you picture yourself landing safely. If you're chased, you turn and face whatever hunts you. Over time, the nightmare can lose its grip, its edges softened by the power of your waking mind. It's strange, isn't it, that something so painful can hold a kind of hidden wisdom. Nightmares remind us that the mind is always listening, always searching for danger and safety. They show us our deepest worries, but in doing so, they sometimes give us a chance to understand them, to see what frightens us in the light of day. So if tonight your dreams wander into darker woods, know that you are not alone. The monsters in your mind are shadows of your fears, but they are also old guardians, echoes of an ancient part of you that wants to keep you awake, aware, alive. Take a slow breath. Let the covers wrap you like a shield. If nightmares come, greet them gently, like old sentries doing their work. And remember, morning always comes. Even the worst dream dissolves with the dawn. And you, brave dreamer, will rise again to greet the day. There is a special kind of dream that slips its roots into the edge of waking. You open your eyes, you see your room, dim and familiar. Maybe the moonlight spills across the floor, or your clock glows softly by your bed, but something is not quite right. You try to lift your arm, nothing happens. You try to call out, but no sound comes. Your mind is awake, but your body lies frozen, heavy as stone. This is sleep paralysis, one of the strangest and most unsettling gifts the dreaming mind can give. It sits in that fragile doorway between sleep and wakefulness, a moment when your brain and body have drifted out of step. Most people will feel it at least once in their lives, though many never find words to describe it. Some feel it only for a few seconds, others for what feels like a long, slow minute. It can be terrifying, but it is also, in its own way, a peek into the mysteries of how our sleep protects us. Let's drift a little closer. When you dream, especially when you dream in REM sleep, your brain is alive with stories. Your body, though, stays still. This is not a flaw, it is a gift. Your brain sends gentle signals to keep your muscles relaxed so you do not leap from the bed or act out your dreams. You lie still so you stay safe. This is called muscle atonia, a built-in safety lock that keeps your dreaming world from spilling too far into the real one. But sometimes, just for a heartbeat or two, the system misfires. You wake up before the lock lets go. Your mind rises to the surface, blinking into the room you know, but your body is still wrapped in the quiet spell of dreaming. You try to move, but the dream's protective stillness holds you in place. You try to speak, but your tongue rests under sleep's hush. And in that fragile pause, your mind does what it always does. It makes stories. It searches the shadows for meaning. It fills the empty spaces with shapes. This is why so many people who feel sleep paralysis also feel they are not alone. They sense a presence in the room, a shadow at the end of the bed, a figure that presses on their chest or whispers at the edge of hearing. The old folklore calls them the night hag, or the demon who sits on the sleeper's chest. In places like Scandinavia, they called it the mare, the root of our word nightmare. Every culture has its version of these visitors. In Japan, it is the kanashibari, the feeling of being bound by unseen ropes. In Newfoundland, the old hag creeps into rooms to steal your breath. In ancient Greece, they spoke of the Ephialtes, the leaper who would press the air from your lungs. Stories passed down like lullabies with jagged edges, reminders that our fears often bloom in the spaces between sleep and waking. Scientists know now that these figures are not spirits, but the mind's attempt to explain the impossible feeling of being trapped inside your own body. Half in a dream, half awake, you are vulnerable to your oldest fears. The feeling of being watched, the dread of something you cannot fight or flee. It is your brain's ancient alarm system ringing in the wrong room. For some, sleep paralysis happens only once, a single, ghostly brush with the edge of dreaming. For others, it comes back especially during times of stress, exhaustion, or irregular sleep, lack of rest, jet lag, anxiety. These can all stir the ingredients that make the dream cling to you when you wake. If you ever find yourself caught in that heavy hush, know this: it will pass. The body always catches up to the mind. The gentle lock will lift, breath will return fully, fingers will wiggle, your voice will come back, the visitor will fade like mist. You are safe, even when your mind feels trapped. Some find it helps to sleep on their side instead of their back, to keep a steady sleep schedule, to rest well and often. Others use small rituals, a light left on low, a gentle song, a reminder that the shadow is only a dream's echo, lingering a few moments too long. It helps too to name it, to say, "This is sleep paralysis. This is my body protecting me, just a little out of sync." The fear may visit, but it cannot stay. And when you wake, fully awake, you may carry a strange new respect for your own mind, for its power to hold you so still, for its power to craft shapes in the dark, for the thin, delicate threads that tie your dreaming self to your waking self. So tonight, as you drift off, wrapped warm and safe, remember this: if sleep holds you tightly for a moment, if the dream won't let go, you are not alone, you are not broken, you are simply a dreamer standing in a doorway, and the night, even with its shadows, is still your friend. When you drift off at night, you might not be the only dreamer in your home. Maybe, not far from where you lie, someone else curls up in their own patch of warmth. A soft snore, a gentle twitch of whiskers, a tiny paw that flutters like it's chasing something only it can see. Your dog, your cat, the sparrow perched under the eaves, they dream too. For centuries, people have wondered about the secret worlds behind animals' closed eyes. Do they dream like us? Do they remember? Do they feel something as they drift? Let's wander gently into their night for a while. Think about your dog sleeping near your feet. One moment so still and quiet, breath rising and falling in a steady rhythm, and then a paw paddles at the air, a muffled bark escapes, soft and low. Maybe their tail thumps against the floor as if they're wagging hello to someone only they can see. It's a scene so many pet owners know well. Scientists have peered into these moments with careful curiosity. In sleep labs, they've placed gentle sensors on the heads of dogs and cats, measuring brain waves just like they do with humans. And what they find is something beautiful. When our pets fall into deep sleep, their brains light up with activity, waves of electrical sparks, bursts of signals that look almost exactly like the patterns in our own dreaming minds. They too enter REM sleep, that stage when the brain is alive with stories and the body lies still. In dogs, these REM cycles are shorter than in humans, but they come more often. A puppy might tumble through REM every 10 minutes or so, each time diving into a tiny movie that plays only for them. But what do they dream about? We can't ask them, not really, but studies and quiet observation give us hints. A mouse running in its sleep shows brain activity that maps almost perfectly to the pathways it ran while awake. A little memory replayed in the quiet dark, as if the brain is stitching the day together. For cats, it's much the same. Long ago, a sleep researcher named Michel Jouvet gently disabled the muscle lock that keeps dreaming animals still. What he saw was like watching a cat live its dreams. The cat would twitch its paws, leap up to stalk invisible prey, its tail flicking as if it were deep in the hunt. When the dream ended, the cat curled up once more, back into soft, motionless sleep. So perhaps your cat dreams of the mouse it chased that morning, or the sunbeam on the windowsill, or the flicker of your fingers beneath a blanket. Little bits of life, replayed in a language only the cat understands. It's not just our pets. The wild world dreams too. Birds, for instance, show REM sleep. A zebrafinch with its tiny heartbeat and bright feathers might drift off with songs still echoing in its mind. In one study, researchers found that a sleeping bird's brain fired patterns that mirrored the melodies it learned while awake. It's as if the bird practices its song in its sleep, making it stronger for the morning chorus. And then there are the dreamers beneath the waves. Octopuses, those soft-bodied marvels, show a kind of sleep that seems to come with strange dreams. If you ever watch an octopus sleep, you might see its skin shift in color, from pale sand to dark ink, patterns rippling across its body like underwater clouds. Some scientists think these color changes could be the sign of an octopus replaying memories, hunting in its mind, slipping through coral caves even as it rests safely tucked inside its den. The more we look, the clearer it becomes. Dreaming is not just a human gift. It runs through the animal kingdom like a hidden thread. It makes you wonder if this nighttime story making serves a purpose for them too. Perhaps it helps them remember where the good hiding places are, or how to find their way back home, or simply gives them a safe place to practice the life they lead when the sun is up. What's so touching about this is how it reminds us that we are not alone in the strange theater of the night. When you close your eyes, you share that drifting world with so many other creatures. Your puppy's paws dance on the floor while you float through your own dreamscape. The owl in the tree nods off, maybe remembering the shape of the field below. The baby dolphin drifts beside its mother, dreaming softly beneath the waves. So tonight, as you lie still under your blanket, listen for the faint rustle at your feet, the gentle sigh from a basket in the corner. Maybe there's a little tail flick, a tiny mule, a fluttering paw. Somewhere close by, your fellow dreamers are wandering too, through fields and forests, across rooftops, under the sea. And when you wake in the morning and see your dog stretch or your cat blink at the first sunlight, remember they have their own secret stories. You'll never know exactly where they went, but maybe that's the magic of it. Dreams belong to each sleeper, human or not. A quiet reminder that every creature holds a little universe behind its eyelids, drifting soft and secret through the night. Close your eyes for a moment. Right now, wherever you are, the room fades, the light dims behind your eyelids, and in that soft dark, your other senses come forward. The faint hum of the air conditioner, the warmth of the blanket brushing your skin, the steady drum of your own heartbeat if you listen close enough. This is your mind's gentle reminder that sight is only one doorway into the world, and that dreams do not rely on eyes alone. Maybe you've wondered this before. What about people who cannot see? What does the world of sleep look like for them? Do they wander through the same shifting dreamscapes we do? Do they see colors, faces, places, or does their mind weave stories in another way? A quiet world made not of light, but of sound and touch, memory and imagination. Let's drift into that question tonight, gently, like we're peeking into a dream that doesn't need eyes to bloom. If you've been blind since birth, your brain has never learned to see the way many people do. There's no collection of shapes and colors tucked away for your mind to pull from. But that doesn't mean you don't dream. In fact, scientists and people who live with blindness tell us something beautiful. The brain adapts. It finds other ways to build a story while you sleep. Instead of bright images, the dreams of someone who has been blind from birth are often built of texture and touch. Sounds take center stage. The rustle of leaves overhead, a loved one's voice calling your name across a memory, the creak of a wooden floor as you step into a place you know so well you can walk through it without sight. Smells and temperature might also paint the scene, a warm patch of sun on your skin, the sweetness of fresh bread drifting through a childhood kitchen. It's not emptiness, it's not darkness, it's a dreamscape that feels alive through senses that have always guided you when the lights are out. It's almost like your mind is telling a story in Braille, shaping meaning through every texture and sound. People who lost their sight later in life, maybe through illness or accident, share something different. They often still see images in their dreams, sometimes for years after they lose their vision. The brain holds on to those old picture memories, dipping into the vault of sights it once knew. A mother's face, a city street at dusk, a flash of fireworks exploding in a childhood sky. But over time, these images may fade, and the dreams begin to echo the waking world, leaning more on hearing, touch, smell, and feeling. Scientists have even placed gentle EEG sensors on people who are blind, studying how their brains flicker and hum during REM sleep. The results show that their minds light up, just like sighted dreamers do, sometimes even more so in the parts of the brain responsible for sound and touch. One sense grows quiet, and others grow louder, filling the night with stories in a language uniquely your own. It's comforting, isn't it, to know that dreams find a way to bloom, no matter how you sense the world? They're deeply personal, stitched together from the same raw material you carry through the day. For someone blind, a familiar hallway might become a nighttime labyrinth built of echoing footsteps. A friend's voice might be the anchor in a shifting dream that feels both real and impossible. Some people say their dreams feel clearer than their waking thoughts. There are stories of people who are blind, describing how they see in dreams, not with eyes, but with a vivid awareness of space, a sense of where the walls end, where the air opens up into sky, a cityscape drawn not in light, but in echoes and warmth and wind, a dream that makes sense to the mind because it is built exactly the way they navigate life when awake. It reminds us that the human brain is a patient, flexible storyteller. It takes what you give it, memories, sounds, textures, feelings, and weaves them into something that floats behind your eyelids for a few gentle hours. When you wake, that story might fade like any other dream, but sometimes it stays, a secret map you carry through your day, reminding you how remarkable it is that we all drift through this inner world in our own way. So next time you close your eyes and dream of faces, colors, or shapes, Remember that not every mind does the same, and that's something quietly wonderful. Dreams do not care if you see the world in sharp detail or sense it through fingertips and echoes. They care only that you rest, that you drift, that you get to step outside the boundaries of your waking life for just a little while. In the end, our dreams are as unique as we are. Yours are stitched with your sights, your sounds, your memories. Someone else's might be a garden of whispers, footsteps and warmth that tells a story no less vivid than any movie behind your eyes. And tonight, as you lie here, let that thought comfort you. There is no one way to dream. There is only the mind's quiet promise. Wherever you are, whoever you are, it will find a way to carry you softly through the night. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You're lying still, wrapped in the hush of your room, drifting closer to sleep. But before your mind slips completely away, you plant a seed, a tiny thought, a wish for what you want to dream about tonight. Maybe you want to fly. Maybe you want to see someone you miss. Maybe you just want to wander through a quiet place you once loved. This gentle act of setting a dream in motion is something people have done for thousands of years. It's called dream incubation, a tender, hopeful practice of asking your mind to take you somewhere special while you sleep. Tonight, let's drift together into this idea that maybe, just maybe, you have more say in your dreams than you think. Not complete control, like a movie director with a script in hand, but a soft influence, like nudging a paper boat in the right direction on a still pond. Long before we had brain scans and sleep labs, humans were wondering the same thing you are now. Can I steer my dreams? Can I send a question out into the night and find an answer waiting for me in the morning? Ancient cultures built rituals around this quiet hope. The ancient Greeks, for example, practiced something called dream incubation in sacred temples. If you were sick or lost or needed guidance, you might visit a temple of Asclepius, the god of healing. You would lie down on a special stone bed, sometimes surrounded by gentle candles or fragrant herbs, and you would pray, not to be cured instantly, but to receive a dream that might hold a cure or a message. The belief was that dreams could carry wisdom from the divine, a whisper from gods or spirits hidden in the folds of sleep. In ancient Egypt, too, dream temples were places people went to invite meaningful visions. They would cleanse themselves, fast, lie down in sacred spaces, and hope to drift into a dream that answered a question they couldn't solve in the waking world. They knew, in their own way, that sleep was not just a place of rest, but a place where the mind could roam free and sometimes bring back treasures. Even today, without marble temples or priests of sleep, people still practice dream incubation. Sometimes it's as simple as repeating a thought before bed. I want to dream of my grandmother's garden. I want to remember my dream when I wake up. I want to find a solution to this problem. You tuck the thought under your pillow like a note. You carry it with you into the drifting space between awake and asleep, and you trust your mind to do what it does best, to wander, to stitch, to surprise you. Science, of course, has tried to test this. Sleep researchers have found that intention matters. The more you think about something before bed, the more likely it is to slip into your dreams. Your mind, always hungry for connections, takes the thread you hand it and weaves it into the tapestry that unspools behind your closed eyes. Sometimes this is as simple as falling asleep while thinking about a loved one and then seeing them in a dream. Other times it is more focused. Artists and inventors have used dream incubation for centuries to crack puzzles they couldn't solve in daylight. They drift off with a question, wake with a glimpse of an answer, not always perfect, but often just enough to spark a new idea. Modern dream explorers Sometimes add small rituals. Maybe you keep a dream journal next to your bed. You write down your wish for the night, like planting a tiny flag in the soil of your mind. Some people put a special stone or object under their pillow to remind themselves of their intention. Others light a candle or repeat a word like a lullaby, letting the repetition guide them deeper. The point is not to control every scene like you're a king of your dream world. It's gentler than that. It's about inviting your subconscious to play along, to keep a door open to a place you'd like to visit. And when you wake, even if your dream slips away like morning mist, sometimes a piece stays with you, an image, a feeling, a nudge towards something you didn't know you knew. It's worth remembering too that some people find control inside the dream itself. Lucid dreamers, those who wake up while still dreaming and learn to steer the story. But that's another chapter for another quiet night. Tonight is just about the soft magic of trust. Trusting your mind to listen, trusting sleep to carry you somewhere surprising, trusting that sometimes when you send a hope out into the darkness, it may come back to you, wrapped in the language only dreams speak. So next time you rest your head, try it. Whisper a wish to your mind, plant a seed in the garden behind your eyelids, and know that whatever comes, whether you remember or not, your dreams are always listening, always wandering, always ready to take you further than you ever meant to go. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You've just woken up from a dream so vivid it still clings to you like morning mist. Maybe you were walking through a city that doesn't exist, or talking to someone long gone, or flying through a sky that felt more real than waking life. And just as you reach for it, the edges blur, the colors fade, and the story slips through your fingers. Now imagine if you could press a button, rewind the dream, and watch it all over again. Frame by frame, every color, every word, every impossible detail. It sounds like something out of a science fiction story, a magical screen that plays back the private cinema of your sleeping mind. But believe it or not, scientists have been inching closer to this idea. The tools we use to peek inside the dreaming brain are changing fast. And while the promise of replaying dreams is still far away, the question itself opens a doorway into the strange place where science, imagination, and ethics begin to blend. For as long as humans have dreamed, we've wanted to remember ancient people kept dream diaries, carved on clay tablets. Monks copied dream visions into thick, handwritten books. Today we scribble them into journals or tap them into our phones before the details slip away. But no matter how fast we write, something is always lost in translation. A dream is never quite the same in words. It's like trying to catch a breeze in your hands. Enter the modern dream scientists, the people who gather in sleep labs to watch what happens behind your closed eyes. They use tools like EEGs to measure the tiny electric ripples that travel through your brain as you drift through each stage of sleep. But an EEG only tells you so much. A wave here, a spike there, patterns that say you're dreaming, but not exactly what you're dreaming about. So researchers began to wonder, what if we could do more than measure the waves? What if we could actually see what your brain is seeing? In recent years, brain imaging technology has taken a quiet, fascinating leap. Scientists use functional MRI, that big humming machine that scans your brain while you lie perfectly still inside, to capture which parts of the brain light up when you think of certain images. In experiments, people are shown hundreds of pictures, trees, faces, houses, letters, while the scanner records which brain regions fire when each image appears. Over time, a pattern emerges, like a secret language of your mind. Then, while you sleep in the lab, the machine keeps listening. If your brain lights up in a pattern that matches tree, it guesses you might be dreaming of a tree. If a face region flickers, perhaps a person is there with you in your dream. In one famous experiment, volunteers napped inside an MRI, and researchers compared the scans to their dream reports. Again and again, they found echoes, patterns that hinted at shapes and scenes unfolding behind closed eyelids. Of course, it's not like watching a movie. It's closer to seeing a fuzzy reflection in a pond, blurry outlines, hints of motion. Scientists can't yet record your dream in crystal detail. They can't replay your secret midnight story on a screen. But the fact that the patterns match at all is breathtaking. It's a reminder that your brain holds a private gallery of images painted every night in electric signals and gentle chemical shifts. But here's where the wonder turns into a whisper of caution. If one day we could see our dreams perfectly, would we want to? And would we want others to see them too? Dreams are strange, messy, full of contradictions. They reveal fears we hide from ourselves, wishes we never say out loud, memories we didn't know we kept. If technology ever makes dream recording possible, who would watch? Would you share your dreams with a loved one? A doctor? Could someone use them without your permission? These questions sound like the stuff of tomorrow, but they are already stirring debates in sleep labs and ethics boards today. A dream is perhaps the last truly private place we have, a hidden corner where you can be anything, do anything, without judgment. If we open that door too wide, what do we gain and what do we lose? For now, the technology is still a gentle experiment, a few flickers of light, a few matching patterns. Scientists are mapping the landscapes of sleep like early explorers, charting the edges of a new world. They tell us that our sleeping minds are not empty, but alive with stories and symbols, sometimes ordinary, sometimes extraordinary. And so, tonight, as you rest your head and drift into that secret cinema, know this: no machine can fully hold the richness of what your mind creates behind closed eyes. Not yet, maybe not ever. Some part of dreaming may always belong only to you, your private theater, your soft stage, your wandering mind, unspooling tales no one else can see exactly as you do. So sleep well, dream deeply, and trust that sometimes it's enough to wake up with just the fragments, a single image, a feeling, a glimpse of the impossible. And perhaps for now, the mystery is the sweetest part. Have you ever wondered why some of your most unusual ideas seem to drift in while you're half asleep? Or why a fleeting dream image can spark something you'd never think of in the bright light of day? Dreams and creativity have always shared a quiet secret, a hidden conversation that happens while the world around you is still and your mind is free to wander. In waking life, we're taught to think in straight lines: problem, solution, cause, effect. But dreaming doesn't care about straight lines. It loves loops, twists, sudden leaps from one idea to another. In dreams, a bird can become a ship, a hallway can stretch into a forest. The mind bends what it knows, melts old shapes, and lets something new emerge. Throughout history, artists and thinkers have learned to listen for these night whispers. Mary Shelley once dreamed of a young scientist standing over a strange, lifeless figure, an idea so haunting that she turned it into Frankenstein, a story still alive after 2 centuries. A dream gave her a monster, but also a mirror for human ambition. Musicians, too, have pulled songs from the soft edge of sleep. Paul McCartney famously woke up with the tune for Yesterday fully formed in his mind. He played it on the piano before the melody could slip away like mist. Imagine a song that felt like it had always existed, waiting just behind his eyelids for the right night to arrive. Dreams have offered their odd gifts to scientists as well. The chemist Auguste Kekulé dozed in his chair and saw a snake biting its own tail. That strange vision led him to understand the circular structure of the benzene molecule, a breakthrough that shaped modern chemistry. Not every dream brings a revelation, but sometimes the brain's wild connections light up in just the right way. You can see this dreamlike freedom in art, especially among the surrealists. Salvador Dali painted clocks that droop and melt. René Magritte gave us men in bowler hats whose faces vanish behind floating apples. These images are nonsense by daylight's rules, but they feel true to the logic of dreams. They remind us how powerful the imagination becomes when it slips away from everyday thinking. It's not just famous names in textbooks or museums. Everyday people find tiny sparks in their dreams too. Maybe you've woken up with a vivid image that clung to you all morning, or a phrase that repeated itself, echoing like a riddle. Many writers keep notebooks by their beds for this reason, to catch whatever drifts up from the dream world before it disappears. Sometimes it's a full story, other times it's just a scrap, a color, a shape, a single sentence that feels worth saving. And there's a gentle wisdom in letting these fragments stay a little mysterious. You don't have to explain your dream right away. You don't need to polish it into something tidy. Sometimes the magic is in letting it sit, in watching what it grows into days or weeks later. Some people even train themselves to dream with intention. They drift to sleep with a question in mind, hoping their dreaming brain will wander into an answer. Others practice ways to stay half aware inside their dreams, hoping to steer the story toward an idea that wants to come through. There's no guarantee it will work, but the effort itself can be part of the creative spark. And dreams speak in symbols and riddles. They're not interested in plain facts or careful arguments. They show us that creativity isn't always about control. It's often about surrender, about stepping out of your own way, about trusting that your mind knows things you don't always see when you're awake. And maybe that's the quiet gift of it all. Even as you lie in the dark tonight, your mind will keep working in its own playful way. It will sweep the corners, mix old memories with scraps of today, weave threads that do not match. It will show you images that break the rules. Some you'll forget before morning, some you'll remember in a flash years from now. And one might become something you share, a song, a poem, a sketch that would never exist without that dreamy freedom. So as you settle into sleep tonight, don't chase your dreams too hard. Let them wander on their own. Let them twist and turn. Your mind, that quiet artist behind your eyes, knows how to surprise you. And who knows, tomorrow you might wake up with an idea that feels like a secret gift from the place where your dreams and your creativity hold hands in the dark. Some dreams feel so real, they cling to us all day long. But every now and then, a dream does something stranger still. It seems to reach beyond one person's sleeping mind and touch another's. Maybe you've heard stories like this. Two people, far apart, waking up with the same vivid scene in their heads, lovers dreaming the same place, friends seeing each other in sleep, parents and children waking with the same strange memory as if their minds were connected by an invisible thread. Through history, these moments have whispered the idea that dreams might not belong only to us as individuals. In many cultures, people have told stories of shared dreaming or dream telepathy, the idea that two or more minds can meet on some hidden path at night. For some, it's a comforting thought. For others, a puzzle they can't quite explain. There is an old story about the Senoi people of Malaysia who were said to gather each morning to share their dreams. They would listen to each other's nighttime journeys, interpret them, and guide one another on how to change bad dreams into good ones. Whether or not every detail of this story is true, the idea holds a simple truth that dreams have always been more than private pictures. They are stories meant to be told, puzzles meant to be wondered about together. Sometimes these shared dream stories come from lovers or twins who claim they dream the same dream on the same night. Maybe they wake and describe the same forest, the same stranger's face, the same feeling that they were walking side by side in some place that only exists behind closed eyes. There is an intimacy in these tales, a soft reminder that we are more connected than we know. Parents sometimes speak of dreams about a child far away, waking with a sudden certainty that something is wrong, only to find out that it was true. Soldiers in wartime have written letters describing how they dreamed of family they had not heard from in months, only to receive news that felt like an echo of their sleep. In these moments, coincidence feels too delicate a word. It feels like something more, even if science for now has no proof that thoughts can fly like birds from mind to mind. Psychologists and neuroscientists have studied these claims from time to time, curious about whether our brains could really share images without a word spoken. So far, no experiment has shown that dream telepathy exists in a way we can measure, but that does not stop the stories from flowing. Sometimes, the dream that feels shared is really a reflection of how deeply we know the people we love. Our worries, our hopes, our fears weave through our days. Is it so surprising they find similar shapes at night? Think of it this way. If you and a dear friend have walked the same path for years, same jokes, same memories, same tiny fears whispered in the dark, it makes sense that your dreaming minds might visit similar places. Maybe you both dream of the old house you used to visit as children, or the same storm rolling in over a lake you stood by together. Memory leaves strong fingerprints, and dreams can pick them up when we're not watching. There's another piece to this mystery. The human mind is always looking for patterns, even when none are there. It's a gift and a trick at the same time. If you and a friend both dream of a forest, you might focus on that detail and forget the rest. You find meaning in the match and let the mismatches slip away. The coincidence feels magical because our brains crave connection. And yet, maybe there is still a quiet wonder in these stories, even if the science doesn't confirm anything supernatural, because the very act of sharing a dream makes it real in a different way. It brings a piece of your secret night world into daylight, into another heart. Two people, cups of coffee in hand, laughing that they both dreamed of the same odd place. Maybe that laughter is the real magic, a reminder that we are not so separate after all. When people say they dream of the same thing, they are really saying, I want you to know where my mind goes when the world goes dark. I want you to see the strange gardens and winding streets I wander while I sleep. Whether or not you walk there too, the telling makes it feel true. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this gentle possibility. Somewhere, someone might be dreaming too, about you perhaps, or about a place you both love. And if you wake up with a dream that feels too strange to hold alone, tell someone, write it down. Let the world outside your mind catch a glimpse of what flickers behind your eyelids. Maybe your dream will find a match. Maybe it will drift on its own. But either way, the sharing is the part that keeps the wonder alive. And in this quiet mystery, the soft, unproven thread that ties minds together across the hush of sleep, maybe we see what dreams do best. They remind us that even in the darkness, we reach for one another, and sometimes that's enough. There's a kind of dream that makes people sit up in bed with their heart beating faster, a dream that feels like a quiet echo of something that has not happened yet, but somehow will. Maybe you've had one, a fleeting scene where you stand in a place you've never been, hear a sentence you've never spoken, see a face you don't know yet, and then days or weeks later, life hands you that very moment, like a riddle with no clear answer. People have wondered about this for as long as we've wondered about dreams themselves. In the ancient world, dream prediction was woven into daily life. Greek and Roman rulers kept dream interpreters close by to guide decisions for battles, alliances, or journeys across unknown lands. In some cultures, dream seers were thought to carry a special gift, a thin veil between the present and what waits ahead. Stories drift down through generations, embroidered with awe and mystery. A man dreams his ship will sink, so he decides to stay ashore and survives. A woman dreams of an old friend she hasn't seen in years, only to find a letter from them the next day. A mother dreams of a storm on a road her child drives each morning and wakes with an uneasy heart that keeps her child home that day. Science, of course, asks a simple question: how could a brain, curled up in sleep, see anything that has not yet happened? Neurologists will tell you that so far, there's no proof that our dreams slip into the future. The brain is a storyteller, not a time traveler. But that doesn't stop people from feeling that spark of wonder when a dream feels like it's peeking around the corner of time. So how do we explain it? One idea is probability and patterns. Your brain, awake or asleep, is a master at spotting connections, even when they're not really there. Imagine all the millions of thoughts and images that swirl through your mind each night. Most slip away, forgotten, but when a detail lines up with real life later, it sticks to your memory like a burr on a sweater. You forget the countless dreams that went nowhere and remember the one that feels prophetic. It's a bit like tossing handfuls of coins into the air every night. Sooner or later, one lands in a way that makes you gasp. You think, how could I have known? But the truth is, your mind is a pattern-hunting machine. It notices familiar shapes in the noise, lines them up, and whispers, see, there's meaning here. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, the gentle trick our brains play on us to make sense of a world that can feel chaotic and uncertain. Dreams, being as wild and boundless as they are, make a perfect playground for these hidden guesses. And yet, even with the science in hand, the stories don't lose their magic. Maybe you've had one of these moments yourself. A fleeting sense of déjà vu as you step into a room you're sure you've never seen, but feels so familiar you pause, a stranger's voice that matches exactly the words you heard in a dream. It doesn't mean you have a crystal ball behind your eyelids, but it does mean your brain is constantly weaving past, present, and imagined futures together like threads in a tapestry. In dreams, those threads tangle in ways that sometimes surprise us when we wake. Some researchers wonder if this is one way the brain practices for life's uncertainties. By imagining countless possibilities, in your sleep, good, bad, impossible, you're a little better prepared to handle the unexpected. When it comes, it's like a rehearsal dinner for tomorrow's worries. In folklore, these dreams are treasured. They remind us that we live in a world that still has room for mystery. Sometimes that can be comforting, a sign, a gentle nudge to pay attention, to trust your gut when something feels off. Other times, these dreams can weigh heavy on the mind, making people wonder if they missed a warning they were meant to see. Whether you believe in precognitive dreams or not, they show us something lovely about how human minds work. We crave patterns. We want to believe that even in sleep, we're gathering clues about what's next. It's a small rebellion against the unknown, a way to feel like we have a thread to follow in the dark. So if you ever wake from a dream that feels like a whisper from tomorrow, hold it gently, Write it down if you like. Maybe it will match up with something real, maybe it won't. Either way, the wonder is real. It lives in the space between coincidence and hope. And maybe that's enough. Maybe dreams remind us that life is bigger than our to-do lists and our calendars, bigger than what we can see in daylight, bigger than what we can prove or explain. So tonight, as you drift off, remember this: your dreams will swirl and spin and stitch together pieces of you that no one else can see. And if they reach into the future or simply make you feel like they do, let that be one more beautiful secret between your mind and the night. Dreams have always been more than private night stories. For as long as humans have gathered around fires or curled up under blankets of stars, we've tried to make sense of these drifting visions that visit us after dark. But beyond just asking what they mean, people all over the world have created rituals and tools to shape dreams, protect them, and carry them back into waking life. Some of the most beautiful dream traditions come from Native American cultures. The dreamcatcher is probably the most well-known. You might have seen one, a delicate hoop of willow, threaded with a web like a spider's net, sometimes adorned with beads or feathers that flutter softly with the slightest breeze. Long before they became decorations hung above beds around the world, dreamcatchers held deep spiritual meaning. For the Ojibwe people, who are often credited with creating them, the dreamcatcher is like a filter for the night. Good dreams slip through the holes in the web and drift down the feathers to the sleeper below. Bad dreams, tangled in the web, dissolve in the morning light. It's a simple, loving way to tell a child, or your own inner child, that the night doesn't have to feel so full of shadows, that you're not alone with the images your mind weaves in the dark, and that sometimes a gentle charm can guard the doorway between you and the unseen. In Tibet, there is a practice known as dream yoga. Unlike the dreamcatcher's protective embrace, dream yoga invites you to step deeper into the dream itself. Tibetan Buddhist monks believe that when you become aware that you're dreaming, you can use that state to explore your mind and train your spirit. The practice is both mystical and practical. In a dream, you can confront fears, test your attachments, and even prepare for the moment of death, which they see as a final dreamlike transition. For these practitioners, dreams aren't random stories to forget in the morning. They are a training ground, a place to wake up to the truth that the world, too, is ever-changing, fleeting like a dream. Other cultures have woven their own nighttime protections and invitations for dreams. Among the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, the concept of the dream time stretches far beyond individual dreams. It's an ancient way of understanding the creation of the world, the journeys of ancestors, and the deep connection between people, land, and spirit. Stories from the dream time are passed down through songlines and sacred sites, reminding each generation that the land itself holds the memories of dream journeys from the very beginning. When they speak of dreams, it is not only what happens behind closed eyes, but the dream that is always unfolding in the world around them. In parts of Africa, some communities believe that ancestors visit the living through dreams, offering guidance or warning. Elders might gather in the morning to share what they saw, looking for signs or messages for the whole village. Dreams are not kept secret, but spoken aloud, woven into the daily life as advice and stories that shape choices and keep the past alive. In ancient Egypt, people went so far as to build special places called dream temples. Pilgrims would travel miles to sleep on sacred grounds, hoping the gods would visit them in their dreams with answers to life's big questions: health, love, the future. Priests served as dream interpreters, helping the dreamer understand what messages the divine had sent. It was part therapy, part ritual, part spiritual journey, all wrapped up in the hush of night. Even today, you might keep a little ritual of your own. Maybe you whisper a prayer before sleep, asking for good dreams. Maybe you place a stone or a crystal on your nightstand, believing it brings peaceful rest. Maybe you keep a dream journal by your bed, ready to catch those fading threads when you wake. Whether you hang a dream catcher, practice lucid dreaming, or simply drift off with a wish, these small acts connect you to something timeless. They remind you that dreams have always been more than static images behind your eyelids. They are stories that link you to your ancestors, your fears, your hopes, your spirit, and to people on the other side of the world doing the same thing each night. It is comforting, isn't it, to think that while you sleep, you are never truly alone in your dreaming. Your great-grandparents dreamed, so did theirs. Somewhere right now, a child is falling asleep under a dream catcher, an elder is chanting before bed, a monk is drifting into dream yoga, all hoping, just like you, to find a little more understanding, a little more light in the darkness. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember the gentle power of these rituals. They are soft reminders that the night can be a place of safety, of wisdom, of connection, not just for you, but for all the dreamers who came before and all who will come after. Sleep well, and may your dreams be kind. Isn't it curious how something can feel so real in the middle of the night, so vivid you could swear it happened, and yet by the time you open your eyes, it's already fading like mist in the morning sun. Dreams slip through our fingers almost as quickly as they come. One moment you're flying over mountains or speaking to someone long gone, and the next you're staring at the ceiling, struggling to remember even the smallest detail. Why does the mind do this? Why does it work so hard to build entire worlds while you sleep, only to let them dissolve as soon as you wake? Scientists have been puzzling over this for years. It turns out there's more happening inside your sleeping head than you might think. When you dream, your brain is still sorting through thoughts, feelings, and memories. It's busy connecting old information in new ways, weaving threads from your day into strange, often symbolic stories. But when it comes to holding on to these stories, the brain has other priorities. One idea is that your brain simply doesn't see dreams as useful information worth keeping in your conscious memory. Think of it like overnight housekeeping. While you sleep, your brain is sweeping out clutter, strengthening some memories, softening others, and sometimes tossing away the bits that don't serve you. The hippocampus, the part of your brain that helps form long-term memories, is not as active during REM sleep, the stage when most dreams happen. So your dreams don't get stored the same way waking experiences do. They're like messages written in disappearing ink. And waking up itself plays a part too. As soon as your eyes open and the outside world floods back in, your alarm buzzing, the dog barking, the light hitting your face, your conscious mind gets busy. Your brain shifts gears, moving from the quiet inner landscape of dreaming to the noisy demands of the day. Those delicate dream images get crowded out by thoughts like, "Where did I leave my keys?" or "What time is that meeting again?" It might feel like a shame to lose them. After all, some dreams feel important, full of meaning, or just so wonderfully strange you wish you could bottle them up. But there are gentle ways to catch a few before they slip away. One of the simplest is to keep a dream journal by your bed, something you can reach for the moment you wake up, before the world rushes in. Even if you only remember fragments, a color, a feeling, a single word, write it down. Sometimes, just the act of paying attention trains your mind to hold on to more the next night. Try not to move too much when you first wake up. The moment you shift your body or sit up too fast, It's like shaking a snow globe. The tiny details scatter. Instead, lie still for a few breaths and let the images settle in your mind. Ask yourself, who was I with? Where was I? What was I feeling? Another small trick is to set an intention before you sleep. You can say it quietly in your head. Tonight, I want to remember my dreams. It sounds simple, but it can work. It plants a seed in your subconscious, a gentle reminder to hold onto the threads of the night. Some people find that waking up naturally, without an alarm, helps too. Alarms can jolt you out of your final dream and scatter it before you have a chance to gather it up. If you can, let your body wake you slowly. Those moments of drowsy half-sleep are often when dream memories are clearest. And if you forget anyway, that's okay too. Some dreams are meant to drift away. Not every story your mind spins needs to be pinned down or explained. There's a quiet magic in letting some things remain secret, soft puzzle pieces that float just out of reach, reminding you how much of your own mind is still a mystery. So tonight, if you want to remember, set a little intention. Keep that notebook close. Lie still when you wake. But if the dreams slip through your fingers anyway, don't be frustrated. They did their work while you were sleeping, washing the day clean, stitching new connections, helping you rest and heal in ways you may never fully understand. Maybe tomorrow night, another story will come. Maybe this one will stay with you longer. A single image, a strange feeling, a sentence whispered in the dark. And when you catch it, you'll be reminded of the secret world that blooms behind your eyelids every night. A world you're always welcome to visit, even if you don't always remember the way back. Sleep well tonight. May your dreams be gentle, whether you keep them or let them go. Sometimes the softest parts of ourselves only speak when we're half asleep. They show up in flashes, a garden path that feels familiar, even if you've never walked it, a stranger's face that feels like a memory, a moment so clear you wake up feeling like you've lived another life in the dark. And then, just like that, the dream fades, the edges crumble, you pour your coffee, and the fragments slip away. But what if you could hold on to those moments, even just a little? What if you gave them a place to rest, instead of letting them drift back into the mist? That's the gentle promise of a dream journal. Not just a notebook on your nightstand, but a soft landing place for the odd, beautiful pieces your mind weaves while you sleep. Dream journaling is simple, yet surprisingly powerful. You don't have to be a writer. You don't need perfect sentences or pages and pages of detail. You just need to pay attention, to honor what comes to you in that fragile space between sleeping and waking. When you first open your eyes, linger for a moment. Before the morning pulls you away, keep your body still if you can. Let the dream's shapes settle in your mind like footprints in fresh snow. What do you remember? A color? A face? A feeling? Sometimes it's not a whole story. It's a single image, like a bird perched on a window or a hallway that led somewhere you've never been. Write down whatever you find. Don't worry about making sense of it yet. Dreams often speak in symbols, and what seems nonsensical at first may reveal a pattern later. Over days, weeks, months, you may notice themes repeating. Maybe water keeps showing up, rivers, rain, the ocean's tide. Maybe you dream of the same house again and again, each time with a new door or a hidden room. These patterns are like secret threads your mind weaves behind your everyday thoughts. Keeping a journal can help you pull on those threads gently to see where they lead. For some, this is just a quiet, private practice, a way to listen to the deeper currents of the mind. For others, it can open the door to deeper self-understanding or even healing. Some people take this a step further and share their dreams with others. Dream groups have existed for centuries, small circles where people gather to share and reflect on what they've seen at night. In some cultures, dream sharing was a communal ritual. Villages would sit together at dawn, listening to each other's dreams as if they were messages to be understood collectively. Today, dream groups still exist in quiet corners of the world, in living rooms, community centers, or online. It's a different kind of conversation, one where you don't have to explain every detail, but instead let others help you see connections you might have missed. Sometimes, hearing someone else's dream makes you notice a secret echo in your own. Therapists sometimes use dreams too. In modern dream work, a therapist may invite you to revisit a dream that keeps returning, a recurring nightmare, an unresolved scene. They might ask you to describe every detail slowly, or even step back into the dream in your imagination, exploring what your mind might be trying to tell you. The beauty of this work is that there is no single right answer. A dream journal is not about decoding every symbol with perfect accuracy. It's about staying curious, gentle, and open. Some images may make sense over time. Some may remain a mystery, like a stone you find on the beach and slip into your pocket just because it feels right there. If you'd like to begin, here's a simple way to start. Keep a small notebook and pen next to your bed. When you wake up, write something, anything, even if it's just "I don't remember." That act alone tells your mind you're listening. Over time, you may find you remember more. You might also try giving your dreams titles, like tiny poems. A single word or phrase can capture their feeling. Instead of long paragraphs, you could even sketch a symbol, a shape that holds the mood of what you dreamed. And remember, you don't have to share your dreams if you don't want to. Some are meant to be private, seeds you plant in your mind's quiet soil. But if you ever feel drawn to share them, know that there are others listening too, people who understand the strange language of the night and how it binds us together in our humanness. So tonight, as you drift off, know that the stories you weave in sleep are not lost. Keep a small door open for them, a blank page waiting, a promise that you'll catch at least a few before they slip away. In doing so, you may discover parts of yourself you'd forgotten, waiting patiently for you in the dark. Sometimes when you close your eyes at night, a story you've never seen before flickers to life. You're standing in a place that feels oddly familiar, yet completely impossible. A house you know, but with a hallway that never existed. A street from your childhood that suddenly leads to the ocean. You wake up with the sense that your brain is telling you something important, but the message drifts away like fog when the sun rises. Dreams have been part of us since the beginning. For centuries, we've poked at them, tested them, mapped them with wires and machines, hoping they'll finally give up their secrets. And yet, after all the theories, Freud's buried wishes, Jung's shared symbols, modern brain scans, and sleep labs, there's still a question no one can quite answer. Why do we dream at all? Some answers feel close. We know dreams help with memory, that they sort and file the pieces of our day, weaving scraps of thought into a new quilt. We know they can help us heal, washing old hurts in the gentle waters of imagination. We know they can bring flashes of insight, the eureka moments when the mind solves puzzles it can't untangle by daylight. But behind all these reasons, a deeper mystery remains. Why stories? Why symbols that repeat across lives and cultures, showing up again and again in the minds of people who have never met? Think of the dreams that keep coming back. Maybe you've had one yourself, standing on a stage, but you've forgotten your lines, finding yourself back in school, unable to find the classroom you need, flying weightless over rooftops or falling endlessly into the dark. Psychologists call these recurring dreams, and they visit millions of people, generation after generation, a universal language spoken in images and feelings rather than words. No matter how rational we become, there's something about these patterns that tugs at us. Why do so many people dream about losing their teeth? Why do hallways, bridges, forests appear again and again? Some think these symbols are echoes from our ancestors, ancient fears and wishes woven into our DNA, like the way our skin still prickles at the rustle of leaves when we're alone in the woods. Others believe they're more personal, private messages our minds keep sending until we're ready to listen. Yet sometimes, the same dream means something different each time it comes. One night a storm in your dream feels terrifying. Another night, the same storm feels cleansing, like it's washing away what you no longer need. A snake can be danger one week and transformation the next. There's no perfect key that unlocks these meanings. Maybe that's the point, that dreams keep us curious, always wondering, never fully certain. Neuroscientists, those patient mapmakers of the brain, have scanned sleeping heads for decades, watching the mind light up during REM sleep like a city at night. They can trace electrical storms across the cortex, see the parts of the brain that churn with stories while the body lies still. But even they admit there's a gap they can't quite cross, a riddle that sits between neurons and the ghostly scenes they produce. You can measure the brain's pulses and patterns all you like, but you can't yet pull a dream out whole, like a film on a reel, and maybe you never will. Some researchers think that's the beauty of it. If we could decode every dream, we might lose something precious, the strange freedom of a story that means nothing and everything at once, the comfort of a symbol that shifts each time you touch it, the secret garden inside each mind, where logic has no power. For some people, these mysteries are just curious trivia, forgotten by breakfast. For others, they're doorways into bigger questions. Why do we feel the need to tell stories at all? Why does the human mind crave symbols and myths? Why does the brain spend hours each night spinning tales when it could just shut down and rest? It's as if we're wired for wonder, even in our deepest sleep. So tonight, as you drift off and your mind begins to wander, know that you're stepping into a tradition older than any book, any map, any science lab. You're part of a lineage of dreamers stretching back through time, people who saw symbols in their sleep and woke up with questions that made them gaze at the stars a little longer. Maybe the point is not to solve the puzzle, but to let it keep you company in the dark. The next time you wake with a piece of dream still clinging to you, the echo of an ocean wave, a key that unlocks no door, a bird that spoke without words, hold it gently. It's okay if you never know exactly what it means. Some mysteries are meant to stay soft and a little out of reach, like the dreams themselves. After all, maybe it's not what dreams explain that matters most, but what they keep secret, so we have something to wonder about in the hush of the night. Sometimes it's tempting to think we need to solve everything, to pull every secret into the light, to have an explanation for every odd flicker of our minds. Science has given us so many keys to so many locked doors that we forget how to rest in the mystery. We want to know why our brain dreams the way it does, why shadows creep into our sleep, why certain faces appear after years apart. And yet, maybe not knowing is exactly what makes it beautiful. There is a quiet magic in the gaps, in that moment when you wake up with your heart racing because you were flying so high you could taste the clouds, or standing in a room full of people who seemed to know you even though you didn't know yourself. These tiny fragments of night, like broken mirrors, never show us the whole thing, but maybe that's the gift. If you could see every piece perfectly, you might lose the sense of wonder that dreams carry, that soft hum that says your mind is bigger than the daylight version of you. Think of how children dream. Their stories are wild, nonsensical, stitched together with colors that don't exist in the real world. They don't care about analyzing every piece when they wake up. They carry the dream's warmth for a moment, a dragon in the garden, a secret treehouse above the clouds, and then they run to breakfast with sticky fingers and sleepy eyes. Maybe we're meant to keep a bit of that spirit, to let our dreams wash over us without picking them apart until they lose their shine. In many ways, our days are already so full of answers. We have facts at our fingertips, tiny devices that tell us the weather on the other side of the planet, the name of every star, the path to anywhere. But when you close your eyes, all those neat facts fall away. You become a traveler in a land that refuses to be mapped, and in that strange secret country, you are allowed to drift without directions, to feel without needing to define. Some people say the unknown is scary, and sometimes it can be, but there's another side to it, a soft comfort that lives in the unexplainable. Dreams remind us that we are more than checklists and calendars. We are storytellers at our core, whispering little myths to ourselves while the world sleeps. Maybe you've woken up with the feeling that someone you lost long ago came to visit you in your dreams. Science might tell you it's just neurons firing in familiar patterns, but your heart knows there is more to it than that. There is something tender about not knowing for sure. You don't need to decode every symbol. Sometimes a snake is just a snake. Sometimes it's change slithering through your life. Sometimes a locked door is just a locked door. Or maybe it's a truth you're not ready to open. Your mind decides what to show you and what to keep hidden. It is a guardian of your secret landscapes. Dreams let us hold hands with parts of ourselves we don't meet when the sun is up. They let us fly over rooftops, breathe underwater, dance in worlds that cannot exist, and then they slip through our fingers before we can pin them down. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we need dreams to stay a little secret, like a gift we unwrap every night, only to find that the paper folds itself up again by morning. So tonight, as you settle into sleep, see if you can loosen your grip a little. Let the next dream come to you like a visitor you don't need to interrogate. Let it wander through your mind, rearrange a few pieces, then drift off again into the quiet. You don't have to catch it. You don't have to explain it. Just let it be what it is, a gentle reminder that there will always be parts of you that live just beyond the reach of words. In a world that wants everything known and cataloged, your dreams remain your private ocean, a secret tide that pulls you inward, a map that no one else can read. It's okay not to have an answer for every ripple on that water. In the end, maybe the greatest comfort is knowing that the mystery stays alive, that when you close your eyes, you can still wander down hallways that don't exist, speak to people you've never met, and wake up a little softer, a little more curious, each and every time. So here's to your dreams, messy, magical, untamed. May they keep surprising you. May they stay just out of reach, so you always have something to wonder about when the lights go out and the world goes quiet. And when you wake, may you carry that hush of mystery with you into the day, a reminder that not every question needs an answer. Some things are meant to be dreamt and left drifting in the dark. So here we are, right at the edge of sleep together. You've wandered through the hidden corners of your own mind tonight, explored how dreams have been seen by ancient shamans and modern scientists, how they slip between the lines of your waking life like a quiet river underground. And now your eyes are probably a little heavier. Maybe your breathing has slowed. Maybe the world outside your window has gone soft and hush, like a gentle blanket drawn up over your shoulders. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? Knowing that when you drift off, your mind keeps working in ways that no one can quite explain. You'll step through doors that don't exist when the sun is up. You'll see faces you haven't thought of in years. Maybe you'll find yourself soaring over rooftops or standing in a childhood backyard that no longer looks the same in daylight. These stories belong only to you. No one else can wander through them the way you do. Tonight, maybe you'll dream of a hidden garden, the grass cool under your bare feet, the air humming with the songs of insects and faraway winds. Or maybe you'll find yourself on a quiet train that never reaches its station, watching moonlit hills slip by like moving paintings. Maybe you'll find answers to questions you haven't asked yet. Or maybe you'll wake with only a feeling, soft, warm, impossible to name. That's the gift dreams give us. They don't ask to be solved, only felt. And as you lie here waiting for that first step into the secret places behind your eyelids, I hope you feel a little less alone. There's something comforting about knowing that billions of us are dreaming together every night. A secret society of dreamers, each curled up in beds or hammocks, or curled into airplane seats halfway across the world, all drifting through our own private theaters. Each dream a fragile little world that glows for a few moments before the dawn washes it clean. If you've ever felt that your dreams don't matter, I hope tonight you feel differently. Each one, whether strange or sweet or frightening, is your mind's way of caring for you. Sorting, sifting, healing, wondering. You are your own storyteller, your own oracle, your own secret keeper. No one else has the map, and maybe that's why, even after all this time and all this science, we still can't pin dreams down. Maybe they are meant to remind us that we are bigger than what we do between 9 and 5. That there's more to us than our calendars and screens and to-do lists. So tonight, as you close your eyes, know your mind will wander through stories only you can tell. Let that thought wrap around you like the softest blanket. Let it hush any restless worry that tries to creep in. There's no right or wrong way to dream. There's no test at the end. Just you, your thoughts, your secret places, all waiting to be rediscovered once you slip past the waking world. And if these quiet moments have brought you even a tiny drop of wonder, I'd love it if you gave this video a gentle like. Maybe subscribe to the Snoozy Scientist if you'd like more sleepy journeys into mysteries that drift just out of reach. If you're listening from a cozy corner of the world, I'd love to know, share where you're drifting off from tonight. A small village? A high-rise in a bustling city? A tiny cabin where the only sound is the wind brushing past the trees? It makes me smile to see our sleepy map grow, glowing with tiny beacons of curiosity and calm. As the night settles deeper around you, trust that your mind knows what to do. Let it wash away the noise and the lists and the things undone. Let it slip you gently into those half-lit corridors of memory and imagination, where time bends and reality softens. There's nothing you need to force, nothing you need to figure out right now. Only this moment, only this breath, only this drift. May your dreams tonight be kind to you. May they surprise you with little flashes of beauty. May they bring you a sense of wonder that lingers like stardust on your pillow when you wake. And when you open your eyes to the morning light, may you carry a piece of that secret world with you, a reminder that there is always more to you than meets the waking eye. Sleep well, dream deeply, and remember you are the dreamer and the storyteller, the wanderer and the witness. Sweet dreams, fellow dreamer. Sweet dreams from the Snoozy Scientist.